shame I'll lose my voice, screaming at the gods about the bad we've done. Merle said, Mama tried, but the prison still won. Your transgressions are mine as well. Anger grows in my bones, and you could not tell. I'll find comfort and hope in you. Lord, forgive us, my boys and men. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of beef with Johnny on the vinyl. Baptize me in a bottle of beef with Johnny on the vinyl. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of beef with Johnny on the vinyl. Well, the devil can scrap, but the Lord has won. And I'll talk to him under rising sun. His sun rose and mine did too. I was coming down, but now I'm talking to you. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of beef with Johnny on the vinyl. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of beef with Johnny on the vinyl. Baptize me in a bottle of beef with Johnny on the vinyl.
This is a special presentation of Victoria Generals Baseball.
Outs, 3.5 hours. That is all that separates the Texas and Louisiana Division champions from grasping their hands on the most iconic trophy in all the Lone Star State when it comes to collegiate baseball in the months between June and August. It is a beautiful night to recap what has been an incredible 9-week summer here on the banks of the Guadalupe River throughout the Lone Star State and throughout the Cajun State. For one side, the boys from Lafayette, it is about winning for one another. A group that has been through so much resiliency and has had to deal with so much strife, injuries, roster management, even criticalness from their own fan base. Now, they are playing for a chance at destiny and looking for an opportunity to redeem what they accomplished just 2 short years ago in this ballpark. That team is the Acadiana. That team is the Acadiana King Cutters. On the other side, the boys from Red and Blue, who have been the best team in the Texas Collegiate League all summer, at 35-12 in the regular season, 19-5 in the second half, 23-3 combined at home. Tonight, they look to finish the job and accomplish something that hasn't been done in this city in 6 long years, and that is get their hands on the most coveted trophy in the sport and cement themselves as the kings of the TCL. And with that, we welcome you to Riverside Stadium in a sold-out Saturday night on the first weekend of August for tonight's special presentation of Texas Collegiate League Baseball, as this is the 2024 Texas Collegiate League Championship game, presented by Interstate Batteries. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. Featuring the Louisiana Division Champion Acadiana King Cutters and the Texas Division Champion, your Victoria Generals. Hello, everyone, and welcome back here to the Party Box here at Riverside Stadium. My name is Max Cepeda, and to say it is an honor to be your voice for a second consecutive year for the Texas Collegiate League Championship game is an understatement. And to say to have the incredible opportunity to be in this booth and to have this microphone over my mouth is an incredible opportunity, to say the least, to get to call for 2 different teams as they get to once again face off for the second time in 3 seasons at the sports and in this league's most powerful setting. And only one of them is going to get their hands on that piece of wood that is in the building tonight, the Gerald W. Haddock Trophy, named after the founder of the Texas Collegiate League when the league was founded back in 2004. So, as we are in this middle of this pregame show, we're going to talk a lot about history. We're going to talk about that for much of tonight. This is the history of Texas Collegiate League champions. You can obviously see the range of TCL champs that have happened over the course of this franchise. You see, obviously, the 4 franchises, the 4 of the 6 current franchises that have won TCL titles in the past. Seguin a year ago, Acadiana 2 years ago in this very building, Victoria twice in 2010 and 2018, and then, of course, Brazos Valley, winning 7 championships, including all 7 in an 8-year span from 2013 to 2020. And then others as well that we'll mention throughout the night, like the San Antonio Flying Chocolates in 2021, the East Texas Pump Jacks in 2012, the Coppell Copperheads, who won it for 4 of the first 7 seasons of the league, including in the inaugural season in 2004, which was immediately followed by the team in that bottom right corner of your screen, the Denton Outlaws in 2005, and then 2 in the span of 3 seasons in the McKinney Marshalls. As for what this game means, there is so much history involving just this game itself, and that leads us to an early presentation of our Did You Know Flashback Edition, presented by Whataburger. Of course, 2 short years ago, on August 5th, 2022, these 2 franchises once again met for the Gerald W. Haddock Trophy. And the King Cutters, who had been knocking on the door of getting their opportunity to finally hold the coveted trophy, finally broke through with 2 go-ahead runs in the top of the 7th and 8th inning, with a game-tying home run in the 7th and a go-ahead RBI double in the 8th, ended up winning the King Cutters their first ever TCL championship in this very building by a final score of 6-5. You can see some of those iconic pictures from that day on your screen right now, and the King Cutters look to hopefully achieve a similar goal tonight, while the opposite side and the Victoria Generals look to possibly exercise revenge from that horrid night 2 nights ago. As for how these 2 teams got here, well, it's a fairly unique story. For the Victoria Generals, it was through a hard-fought series against their hated rival, the Brazos Valley Bombers, a 3-game series, first losing on the road in Bryan College Station in Game 1 in a 10-inning classic that will go down as one of the greatest single-game pitching matchups that we have ever seen in TCL postseason history, with the Bombers edging out Victoria 1-0 in 10 innings. In Game 2, a 12-7 offensive explosion that was capped off by that 3-run inside the park home run by now soon-to-be University of Houston Cougar Trey Broussard, able to outlast the great 2-for-3 and 2 extra base hit performance from Drew Collins to get the Generals back even and saving their season. And then, just 2 nights ago, securing their spot in this championship game, Connor Kelly with 6 no-hit innings of 3 walks and 10 strikeout baseball, able to shut down Mark Whitehead's offense and send the Generals to this very game, outlasting the Bombers for just their third ever playoff series win against their arch rival in franchise history. Meanwhile, for the Acadiana King Cutters, how did they get here? Well, as we mentioned, they had an incredible second half, 14-9 in that span. The Acadiana King Cutters, once they got into the postseason, knew they were going to be facing an opponent in the Lake Charles Gumbo Gators that was well undermatched, had a worse second half than possibly any team in the league, not regarding the Acadiana Monsters. But the King Cutters were able to take care of business, come back from down 3 in the bottom of the 8th inning to score 5 unanswered runs and take a 3-run lead, 8-5, before winning Game 1, 8-6 in their own building at Faubacker Field, and then heading to Joe Miller Ballpark in Lake Charles at McNeese State University, on the campus of McNeese State University, to defeat Lake Charles 2-0. A great stellar pitching performance from reliever Cade Lynn, who went 4 shutout hit, no-hit innings of his own to lead the King Cutters in a spectacular pitching performance that we haven't seen from this King Cutters pitching roster that really much of this summer they were able to deliver in the much-needed moment to send the King Cutters to this very game and have them ready for tonight. So, obviously, you all know the bracket. This is the bracket that you've seen already much of the last couple of days getting ready for this game. And obviously, the goal is simple. It's winner take all. This is not a best-of-3 series. This championship round used to be a best-of-3 series back between 2017 and prior to the beginning of this series, or prior to 2017, but 2018 and on, it has been a winner-take-all championship game every single year since then, and obviously it's changed the dynamic of how this league operates, and especially these last 2 years, with how the Generals and Bombers have, as we've mentioned, going back to that TCL championship graphic, have normally dominated this league in recent years, especially with current teams playing. But obviously, you notice on that top left corner, each of the last 2 seasons, it has gone to a different side in the King Cutters and River Monsters. Acadiana looking for their second title in 3 seasons and trying to, once again, extend the parity in this league for teams that maybe feel like they are on the outside of the best club that necessarily is not playing for the championship every single year. So, as we now transition to our men on the bump, presented by Texas Roadhouse, a unique pitching matchup to say the least. On their left-hand side for the Victoria Generals, it is Miles Clack, 2-0 with a 5.28 ERA, 15 1/3 innings pitched, 17 hits, 9 walks, and 12 strikeouts. Clack is a 2-year veteran with the Victoria Generals. In 2021 and 2022, Clack had experience with the roster going back years on Michael Oros, had experience with him going back to his high school days, had really found love for Michael Oros and was easily convinced to have the opportunity to come to Victoria and have the opportunity to continue to grow his game. And now here he is getting the opportunity of a lifetime to have the opportunity, the Katy native, who obviously in 2021 was 0-1 with basically a near identical ERA to what he has now. And now here he is pitching in a TCL championship. Not pitching up, didn't pitch obviously in that TCL championship 3 years ago when Victoria lost to San Antonio, but now the Generals looking to possibly achieve that goal for the first time in 6 years, with hopefully Clack as the reason why. And then on the other side, Harper Jordan for the Acadiana King Cutters will be on the mound. Nichols State, obviously the defending Southland Conference champions when it comes to baseball. Harper had an up-and-down year as a reliever for the most part for Nichols State, but he's going to have a very, very big shoe to fill tonight, because Nichols State obviously has a whole lot of brooms on this Acadiana King Cutters roster, and look at those numbers just from this summer alone. 3-0 with a 0.71 ERA and 7 appearances with a save, 12 2/3 innings pitched, 8 hits, 8 walks, 13 strikeouts. The positive note, if you're Victoria, is the fact that Jordan has not faced the Victoria Generals just yet. He was a second half signing for head coach Darian Dukes, and he's been undefeated. Every single time he stepped on the mound, the King Cutters have not lost. 4 starts, 4 outings against Lake Charles, 1 against Seguin, and 2 against Baton Rouge. So those are your men on the bump, and that is going to do it for the TCL Championship Game pregame show. We are going to step aside. As you can see on your screen, some of the Victoria Generals are being introduced onto the field. When we come back, we will have starting lineups and first pitch for the 2024 Texas Collegiate League Championship Game. Cutters, Generals, one side wins, the other side loses. Who is going to come out victorious and hold the Gerald W. Haddock Trophy over their heads? We'll find out in just a matter of moments, right here on TCL TV.
Gather around this table, boys. Bring no shame, I'll lose my voice. about the bad we've done. Merle said, Mama tried, but the prison still won. Your transgressions are mine as well. Anger grows in my bones and you could not tell. I'll find comfort and hope in you. Lord, forgive us, my boys and men. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of bean for the Johnny on the vinyl. Baptize me in a bottle of bean for the Johnny on the vinyl. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of bean for the Johnny on the vinyl. Well, the devil can scrap, but the Lord has won. And I'll talk to him under rising sun. His sun rose and mine did too. I was coming down, but now I'm talking to you. 'Cause we're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of bean for the Johnny on the vinyl. We're having an all-night revival. Some call the women and some will steal the Bible. For the sake of my survival, baptize me in a bottle of bean for the Johnny on the vinyl. Baptize me in a bottle of bean for the Johnny on the vinyl.
This is how we got here. I want to thank our good friend Zach Bryan for leading us in to the 2024 Texas Collegiate League Championship game here on the banks of the Guadalupe River. And so glad you can join us here on TCL TV for what is going to be a very special night, as you can already hear the Let's Go Generals fans, Let's Go Generals chants loud and clear throughout the blue bleachers. Let's take a look at tonight's starting lineups. First, for the visiting Acadiana Cane Cutters, you see the gold theme tonight. The 24 and 23 Cane Cutters, who are 14 and 9 in the second half. Tanner Hornbach has been one of the hotter hitters in this summer, especially when it comes to the postseason play. He has been spectacular when it comes to producing in some of the big moments throughout the regular season. Ashton Quiller, you remember 3 walk-offs this summer, including 2 on back-to-back nights for the Cane Cutters. He's been spectacular, 4 for 9 in this postseason, including 2 RBIs and a triple already. But a lot of this lineup hasn't changed. The interesting note, Jose Torres, the number 5 hole hitter and designated hitter, did not play a game in the entire month of July, and now here he is returning to the Cane Cutters order for the TCL Championship. You got to imagine the pressure that he's feeling right now, and as we mentioned already, Harper Jordan will be on the mound. And obviously, for the Victoria Generals, no changes from TCL semifinal game number 3. No changes when it comes to the order. Dylan Flores remains behind the plate. Jacob Sanchez remains at first base. And as we mentioned already, Miles Clack. The key ones to watch out for, obviously, Avalos and Nickens and Bragg. They're going to be the offensive producers for the Victoria Generals. Meanwhile, for the King Cutters, look at Alex Saunier. Look at Bryce Callaway, obviously leading the TCL in RBIs. He's going to be one to watch out for. You see, we have golded up our TCL scoreboard here tonight, because it is very much necessary, because we are just about set and ready to go, as it is 7:10 exactly local time. Tanner Hornbach steps in the box, and lefty UT Tyler Patriot Miles Clack throws the first pitch, I should say, and it's on the outside corner for strike one, and we are underway in the TCL Championship. Hornbach, the Lafayette local product. It's a high fly ball popped up into center field. Connor Clark is there, and he awaits for it, and he will make the catch for out number one. Hornbach now 2 for 7 combined in this postseason, and that will hand things straight off to Alex Saunier. For that simple fly out to center field. Saunier, also a Lafayette local product, the New Orleans Privateer. Steps in to face Clack. He checks swings, doesn't go around. It's ball one. Umpiring crew tonight, once again, led by Sergio Balazzi. His 13th game this summer here at Riverside Stadium, his second postseason game, leading a 3-man umpiring crew. The 1-0. Outside and low, 2 balls, no strikes from Clack. Saunier this postseason, 2 for 10 with 2 RBIs and a double. Both of his hits, I should say, this postseason have been extra base hits. The 2-0. Inside, too far, 3 balls, no strikes. This Cane Cutters squad is anxious to play this Victoria General side for the first time since the month of June. It's been a long time since these two faced off, and that one hits the bottom of the zone for strike one. Generals looking to finish the job tonight. Cane Cutters looking to complete their destiny that they believe is waiting for them. Hits the outside corner for strike two. Saunier thought he had ball 4, so he has to step back in the batter's box, and the payoff pitch awaits. Temperature 92 degrees, feels like 95, humidity at 63%. The 3-2. Grounded just foul, just above the Cane Cutter dugout. Cutters winners of 12 of their last 13 games coming into tonight. Well, Victoria obviously ended the regular season with a 7-game win streak before losing game 1 of their TCL Texas semifinal. Another payoff from Clack. Foul back to the screen. 7 pitches already in this AB against Saunier. Moving quite fast is Clack with the tempo. Nearly sold out crowd on this free ticket night by our friends at Interstate Batteries. Interstate Batteries, always dependable. Payoff again. Inside, ball 4. So just like that, Saunier will take the walk 90 feet. And it will be a 1-out base runner for the first base runner of the night in the TCL Championship. And it will be the UNO Privateer, and it will be followed in this order by one of his teammates at UNO. The TCL RBI leader, Bryce Callaway, now steps in. Callaway, who finished the regular season with the most doubles, triples, and RBIs across the league, certainly is a candidate for TCL MVP, as that one's low for ball 1. Dylan Flores had to stay in front of that one. Callaway, though, 1 for 7 this postseason. Does have an RBI in his ledger and also 2 runs scored, both of those coming in game 1 against Lake Charles. Wind blowing outward tonight, basically from right behind where we are. That's a check swing. He went around, strike 1. Callaway batted 344 games. That was top 10 in the league. Tied for second with 51 hits. He's also top 10 in walks and strikeouts as well at the dish. Also 2 for 2 on 2 on the mound in 7 appearances. Outside and low, ball 2. 2-1 count here to Callaway. Originally played at Central Alabama Community College before transferring to UNO. It's a New Orleans local product. Les bon temps roulé is the phrase that the Cane Cutters want to say by the end of the night, as Clack throws a pickoff to Saunier. Saunier only 2 stolen bases this summer, and did not have any stolen bases, or actually had 3 stolen bases, I should say, this past year for the Privateers. 2-1 from Clack. Ground ball to the third base side. It's in fair territory. Schmidt will go to second for one. On to first. Will be close. Not in time. Jacob Sanchez drops the ball. So a fielder's choice retires the lead runner, and Callaway will replace Saunier at first base, but the lead runner is called out, and it's still a runner at first, this time with two gone. So Callaway grounds into the fielder's choice, the 5-4 fielder's choice to be exact. And it will be Christian Garcia that now stands in. Second half signing for Darian Dukes. First pitch to Garcia. Swing and a miss, strike one on the breaking ball. Garcia, the Katy product. The junior out of Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers of Conference USA. Known for their unique mascot and campus. The 0-1 is just below. Even count ball and a strike. Garcia 2 for 9 in this postseason with a double and run scored and a walk. Batted .243 in 13 games in the regular season this summer. Has 2 more seasons of eligibility at WKU. 1-1's grounded to the right side foul. In 41 games in Western Kentucky, Garcia appeared in 41 of them, 31 of which in the outfield, and only batted .216 and hit home runs against both Southeast Missouri and Sam Houston. Before WKU, played 2 years at Hill Community College. 1-2, runner goes. Grounded just foul, Callaway will have to go back. For note, Callaway stole 15 bases in the regular season, has yet to steal one here in the postseason, and only stole 6 at New Orleans. The Hilltopper facing the UT Tyler Patriot, looking to get out of the inning. Grounds to first, Sanchez is there, he'll pick it up with ease, and the inning is over. We go bottom 1. King Cutters put 2 runners on base, and they leave 1 stranded. And Clack with a clean first inning for the most part. We had bottom 1 in the TCL Championship game, exclusively on TCL TV, no score. Here on the banks of the Guadalupe here for the bottom of the first inning of the Texas Collegiate League Championship game. As Harper Jordan begins to take his warm-up throws, we'll once again take a look on your Victoria General starting lineup. 35-12 in the regular season, 19-5 in the second half, 23-3 at home with a run differential of 211 to 102, plus 109 the run differential here at home. And obviously no surprises with the lineup that Michael Laura sent out, even with keeping Jacob Sanchez and Dylan Flores in those 7 and 8 holes, which have been exchanged in and out for the most part, at least so far this postseason. We head now to the bottom of the first, and it will be Anthony Avalos. No surprise to lead off a game, and the first pitch thrown by Harper Jordan hits Anthony Avalos in the back part of the hip. And not even before Harper Jordan can take a breath here in this TCL Championship game, it is a first pitch hit by pitch from the Nicholls State Colonel. And Connor Clark, the UT Tyler Patriot, will now stand in. Clark obviously known for his iconic hoodie that he wears underneath his uniform. It is legal in the TCL for you to do that. There's not necessarily a whole lot of uniform restrictions when it comes to those kinds of accessories. Clark, a combined 3 for 9 in this TCL postseason, as that one's low for ball 1. Clark 0 for 4 in game 1 with 3 strikeouts, 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored and 2 walks in game 2, and then had 2 runs scored on 2 singles. Went 2 for 2 with 3 stolen bases in the decisive game 3. As that hits the bottom of the zone for called strike 1, 1-1. If you're just joining us, bottom of the first inning, Anthony Avalos hit on the first pitch thrown by Harper Jordan. As it is an even 1-1 count here to Connor Clark, just 3 pitches in. There goes Avalos. Will be a throw opportunity for Durr, and it will be close, and is in time to get him. Avalos couldn't stay on the bag, and Anthony is in a little bit of pain after over-sliding the second base bag, and that's what the bases umpire says, that Avalos tripped up and now is grabbing onto it. Looks like his hamstring as he walks back over to the dugout. And still on his feet. He walks in his own power. But that is the first out of the inning on a caught stealing. It's the second time Anthony has been caught stealing this postseason. As Clark now with the bases empty, now will be ahead. 3 balls and a strike. So the early advantage that the Generals had when it comes to having a base runner on with nobody out is quickly erased with the aggressive base running, as the 3-1 is grounded just foul by Clark as he chops it towards his dugout. And a payoff pitch awaits here. Jordan had at least a 4.5+ ERA in each of his 2 seasons at Nicholls State. He is a redshirt junior, does have at least 2 more seasons, or does have 1 more year of eligibility coming up in 2025. As Clark grounds this one to the third base side. Snyder is there, long throw to first, and he's there to rip it up in time. As Reed Snyder corrals it and easily gets out Clark, and it's 2 gone with ease here so far, bottom 1. So now Cameron Nickens, the recently committed Austin P. Governor, will now step in. Nickens started this summer as a member of the University of Houston Cougars, where he was for his first 3 seasons of school. Now will be stepping in here, obviously leaving Victoria as someone who will be a big part of the Southland Conference going forward, as it is a swing and a miss for strike 1 from Cameron. Jordan looking for a 1-2-3 first. A 1 is popped up in a shallow center. There is Ashton Quiller. He waits for it. The speed of Quiller is able to make the catch and end the inning. 1-2-3 after a quick retiree of Anthony Avalos, who's caught stolen second base. And after 1, it is scoreless here in the TCL Championship. We end to the second exclusively on TCL TV. Joining us, this is our Did You Know presented by Whataburger. For one last time, it is a throwback to the 2022 TCL Championship, in which the Cane Cutters stole the TCL title from Victoria 6-5 with a game-tying home run in the 7th and a go-ahead RBI double in the 8th to win their first TCL title, and now back in this same building, look to do the exact same thing just 2 short seasons later. As we begin this top of the second inning, it will be 5-6-7 due up with Jose Torres ready to take his first pitch since late June, as that's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Torres originally was going to be a first-half player for Darien Dukes until signing literally right before, just hours before the roster deadline, before the final week of the regular season, as that one's outside for ball 1 from Miles Clack, who remains out there. Had 19 pitches in the first inning to the lefty. Torres in just 9 games, 7 for 28. Slow below the zone, 2 balls and a strike. Torres originally was at JUCO Power San Jacinto College before transferring to UL. The University of Louisiana Raging Cajuns has yet to play in a Raging Cajun uniform. That one's outside, 3 balls and a strike, and Torres quite animated, looking at his dugout, shaking his head, saying, nope, not falling for that one. Clock behind here, 3-1 to begin the second. Here it comes. That is just above the zone for ball 4. And Jose Torres, in the first plate appearance he's had in literally nearly 5 weeks, decides to take a walk on 5 pitches, and he does just that. It's the second walk allowed by Miles Clack here tonight. And now Ashton Quiller, almost a folk hero for these Cane Cutter squad this summer. He's kind of defied the expectations all summer long, and he's proven that. The freshman and Lake Charles native, also a Nicholls State Colonel, as he pops this one up on the infield. Both Clack and Jacob Sanchez are there. Sanchez will make the catch for out number 1, but Torres will remain at first base. High inside fastball for Quiller that he couldn't get on top of. And now Reed Snyder will stand in, the redshirt freshman, also a Lake Charles native. Will be heading to La Tech. Did not play for the Bulldogs this past season, but redshirted there, committed there out of high school. So that one is called on the outside corner for strike 1. Clack, or Snyder I should say, 2 for 9 in this postseason. Does have an RBI on his leisure, but has struck out 4 times as well. Snyder batting .210 in 45 games. A red and blue uniform as this one's lined over the ball and over Jacob Sanchez and into center, or into right field, I should say, for a base knock. First base hit for either side comes off the bat of Snyder, his 3rd of the postseason. And it will be runners at first and second with just 1 gone. Torres at second, Snyder at first. And now Trevor Durr will now stand in. Durr, the sophomore out of Converse, Louisiana, a parish town in far west Louisiana with a population of just 440. Durr, a small town kid, playing in one of the biggest games of his collegiate career out of John Melvin University, the Millers. First pitch is low for ball 1. Melvin, a John Melvin, Trevor Durr is a John Melvin legend, has the career record in the program history when it comes to games played, 80, hits 101, and walks with 61. And is only a sophomore. The 1-0 is grounded over to the left side and is fair. That one will go down the line. Rounding third and coming home is Torres. There will be no throw. Trey Broussard still has to get the ball. Rounding third and coming home now is Reed Snyder, and it will be not in time. A 2 RBI double for Trevor Durr. Just his 2nd hit of the postseason, and the Cane Cutters trying to replicate history from 2 years ago with an early 2-0 lead in the TCL Championship. What a moment for Trevor Durr with an opposite field line drive down the left field line as Torres and Snyder come home. And for the Cane Cutter fans that have traveled here to Riverside Stadium, they are joyous. Parker Gwynn, the 9-hole hitter, will now stand in, the second baseman. Gwynn also a second-half signing. Both him and Durr, one of just 5 in this starting lineup that played in July or later as Miles Clack collects strike 1. Gwynn, a fellow Lafayette native, currently at Bossier Parish Community College, the Cavaliers. 2 for 7 combined in this postseason with an RBI. Ball 1 is called on the outside half for ball 1. Gwynn in 19 games in the regular season, batted .206, 14 for 68, with 7 runs driven in and 6 runs scored, also walked 9 times. Only had 1 extra base hit, however, the 1-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Reminder, Miles Clack came to tonight with a 5.28 ERA. It has not pitched in a game like this more likely than not in his entire collegiate career. And in doing so, gives the Cane Cutters their first lead, as Acadiana has now taken the lead in all 3 of their postseason games they've played. As this one's into shallow center, having to collide on it, there is the right fielder Nickens. He will able to be jumping in front to make the catch. Diego Diaz almost lost the ball in the sun, as both him, center fielder Connor Clark, and Nickens were colliding. But Gwynn is retired on the flyout, with Nickens making the catch. It's out number 2. Still sitting at second base is Durr on the 2-run RBI double, and now Tanner Hornbach now steps in for a second time as the order flips over. Nearly 35 pitches through an inning and 2/3 for Clack. First pitch is grounded over the shortstop side. Avalos is there. Will be a long-distance throw on one hop, and he makes the play to end the inning. But Trevor Durr with one of the biggest hits of his collegiate career. The John Melvin legend coming through with a 2 RBI double. And the Louisiana Division champs with an early 2-0 lead here on TCL TV. History of TCL championships. You can see the ones in gold are of current franchises. The ones in white are teams that no longer exist. 5 teams. We'll talk about all 5 of which throughout the night. And of course, as we mentioned, the last 2 TCL championships going to teams that won it for the first time. And now those Cane Cutters right now in position to claim their 2nd title in 3 years. But a possible TCL MVP candidate, Travis Bragg, will want to have something to say about it, as it will be middle of the order, 4, 5, 6 to face Harper Jordan as he swings this one, clubs in the right center, and there to make the catch is the speedy Ashton Quiller for round number 1. Very few center fielders can probably make those amount of strides in that quick amount of time, and Quiller has proven that he can all summer long. The Nichols State center fielder, as his club has won each of the last 2 Southland Conference Tournament championships. And Drew Schmidt, the UT Tyler Patriot, will now stand in. One of 3 UT Tyler signings in the second half by Victoria Generals head coach Michael Oros, as that one's outside for ball 1. These 2 coaches tonight, and Oros and Darian Dukes, have seen a whole lot of baseball in their time, a whole lot of TCL baseball in their time. Oros more than anyone else. The 1-0. Inside and low, called at the bottom of the zone for strike 1. Schmidt, having so far a spectacular postseason, is the infielder. A combined 4 for 12. One's outside for ball 2. 2 extra base knocks, including an RBI double a night ago, or 2 nights ago, I should say, in the bottom of the first in Game 3 of the Brazos Valley semifinal series. 2-1. Way outside, 3 balls and a strike. Jordan trying to get Schmidt to chase. As we mentioned, wind is blowing out tonight, so that is possibly going to be giving an advantage to both sides and both offenses. The 3-1 from Jordan. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Great breaking ball. We mentioned Jordan struggled in each of his last 2 seasons at Nichols State, but is having a great summer for the red and blue. Basically a perfect choice to be on the mound tonight, but that one is outside for ball 4. Second free pass allowed by Jordan tonight, and it comes on a bases-loaded walk. He led off the game with a hit by pitch on the first pitch he threw to Anthony Avalos, but he was quickly retired just a few pitches later on a caught stealing. We'll see if Schmidt stays just as aggressive on the base pass as Avalos was, and now Diego Diaz will stand in. Diaz, the far Texas native, the 5'9", 170 freshman out of UTSA, the Roadrunner. 0 for 11 combined in this postseason, or 0 for 10, I should say, combined in this postseason. As that one's fouled back to the screen, ball strike 1. However, he's been able to collect an RBI in this process on a RBI ground out. He's also stolen 2 bags this postseason, so he's found a way to stay productive regardless and has made some quality defensive plays as well. Even with committing an error in game 3. So that one is another pickoff throw over to Schmidt. You can see the sun, beautiful weather here tonight in the Crossroads region. But the sun could be a very prominent factor in this ball game for at least the first few innings. Probably not till the 4th or 5th will the sun no longer be a factor. 0-1. Upstairs, ball and a strike to Diaz. Diaz had an incredible ending to the end of the regular season, where he went 8 for 17 in the 4-game Brazos Valley series, including getting 2 extra base knocks, an RBI, and 5 runs scored and 4 stolen bases. The 1-1. Outside corner called strike 2. Great backdoor slider by Jordan. Okay. 1-2 is grounded just foul as that one's a line drive nearly right at Jacob Sanchez, who sits in the Victoria Generals on deck circle. Acadiana with 2 runs on 2 hits. Both runs coming off of a 2-run RBI double by Cane Cutters catcher and John Melvin University Miller, Trevor Durr. 1-2's another pickoff throw. No surprise how many of the Cane Cutters organization, their front office, their interns in their operations department, a whole lot of people making the trip from southern Louisiana all the way to the Crossroads, nearly a 7-8 hour drive between the 2 cities, as that one's another pickoff. Also the Acadiana region that the Cane Cutters represent, nearly twice as large in population in comparison to the Crossroads. 65,000 to over 120,000. 1-2 is once again found on the third base side. Oros clapping over in the third base bag, saying he's appreciating how the Diego Diaz is battling here against Harper Jordan. Over 20 pitches already for the Nicholas State Colonel. The 1-2. Laying upstairs, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And already it appears that the breaking ball is going to be the primary weapon. Both the backdoor slider and it looks like the 12-6 curve on the inside half look to be the primary weapons, at least for now, when it comes for Jordan. We'll see if he goes here again on the 2-2. He didn't break enough, and it looks like it hit Diaz. A late hit by pitch, which is not something you'd want to see if you're Jordan. You've been trying to battle here with Diaz. It's his 2nd hit batter of the night already. One that led off the game, and now one here against Diaz. And it is runners at first and second with only 1 out. Cane Cutters had this exact situation in the top half of this inning and were able to bring home 2 runs in this very at-bat. See if Jacob Sanchez can come through in a similar fashion. The UTRGV Vaquero senior. His first pitch is low for ball 1. The San Juan native is just 2 for 8 in this postseason. Does have a triple on his ledger. Did come home to score in that place. He's also struck out 4 times. Was 3 for 13 to end the regular season. Sanchez signing in early May. He's been destined to be a part of this program all summer. Looking to come through on the final day. 1-0's upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. If Sanchez reaches and it's a possible bases loaded situation, Dylan Flores sits on deck as we near the bottom of the order. Jordan on this right center side of the rubber. Runners could be going here on the 2-0. Here it comes. They don't go, and it's low for ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes to Sanchez, who has yet to walk in this postseason. Did walk 23 times in the regular season this summer. Fan base getting loud, anticipating a base on balls here from Jordan. The 3-0. Inside. And here comes Dylan Flores. Someone who has been pinch hit for in each of the last 2 nights and has become kind of a pinch hit mural for Michael Oros. Has been batting only a couple of times and then quickly replaced once he reaches base. But a walk and hit by pitch and walk will now enforce the first mound meeting of the night, as Acadiana will hump around with their entire infield and their pitching coach. We'll have a conversation here alongside Harper Jordan and his battery mate Trevor Durr, who's responsible for Acadiana's first 2 runs. Pitching coach Spence Drake is having his opportunity to talk here. He's just the only assistant coach alongside Dukes. And has a quick conversation here with Jordan to try to calm down his mood. Someone who has only allowed just 2 earned runs in his 7 appearances in the regular season. A second half signing for Darian Dukes, looking to come through, but now has a bases loaded 1-out situation for Dylan Flores. Flores, in this postseason, the Louisville, Texas native out of St. Edwards, 0 for 2, has also walked twice. Inside, called strike 1. Flores just 3 for 18 in the regular season. Does have 6 RBIs, all 3 of his hits being doubles. Love a 4th one right here if you're the red and blue. Could bring home possibly 1 or multiple runs. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Great breaking ball from Jordan. The dangerous Trey Broussard does sit on deck. And a double play would end the inning for the red and blue on the opposite end. So hard to say red and blue because both teams are wearing red and blue right now, but we're using the maroon on your scorebook on your screen because that's originating from the King Cutters branding. The 0-2. Low and just below the zone, ball and 2 strikes. Flores, a late signing, one of the later signings, maybe the latest signing for Michael Oros to try to bring catching depth for a side that at one point had only 1 catcher in late June, early July. The 1-2, line drive, that will be short ball to right field. There will be a collision for the right center fielder, but Ashton Quiller makes the catch. Coming home to score is Drew Schmidt, and he will, and the lead has been cut in half. It's 2-1. Schmidt comes home to score, but the other 2 runners remain where they are in Diaz and Sanchez. But it's out number 2 on the sacrifice fly from Flores. It's his first RBI of the postseason. So it's a sacrifice fly to center. We currently sit in a 2-1 ball game, and now here comes the dangerous Trey Broussard. Broussard with 2 home runs already in this postseason, 1 inside the park and 1 outside the park. First pitch from Harper Jordan, way outside, ball 1. As we mentioned, Broussard, a combined 4 for 10. 4 for 11, I should say, in this postseason. But has 5 RBIs in each of his last 2 games. Looking to bring home the game's tying run or possibly a go-ahead run. And Sanchez at first base, the 1-0. Inside, strike 1.
Dang it, I wasn't doing my job, I'm
Broussard,
sorry.
the 6'1", 170 freshman, Houston product who spent his freshman season at San Jacinto College, had a great season, was all region in the NJCAA Region 14 with a .409 batting average in 36 games, 54 hits. 1-1 is grounded, that will be just foul, and that's gonna be a fair ball. A fair ball that retires as Reed Snyder tags Diego Diaz at third base, and the inning is over. So 1 run comes in to score on the sacrifice fly from Flores, and the Generals get on the board, but the King Cutter lead maintains. We are in a 2-1 standstill as we head to the 3rd here on TCL TV for the Texas Collegiate League Championship. banks of the Guadalupe River, a 2-1 cane cutter lead as we head to the third inning. There is, of course, the official bracket. Not a whole lot to talk about because you know how these two teams got here, as it is a 2-1 lead for the road visitors. As we head to the third inning, it will be 2-3-4 Heart of the cane cutter order to face Miles Clack in his third inning of work. There is a lefty throwing right now in the Generals bullpen. It's Elon Balmaceda, as that's a high fly ball to shallow right field, but it's in the infield. Jacob Sanchez thought he had it. Then Diego Diaz will make the catch in the shade for out number one. One pitch, one out here in the third. So now Bryce Callaway will now once again come back and stand in. Callaway got a home run on the final week of the regular season for the Cane Cutters, a franchise that was last in the TCL in home runs, just had two all summer, one at home and one on the road. And their one at home coming in the last week of the regular season from possibly their best offensive player and maybe their best player overall, as that one hits the outside corner for strike one. 0-1 is just below the knees, ball and a strike here from Clack. But as I mentioned, Elon Balmaceda currently throwing in the Generals' pen. We'll see how long the leash is for Clack, as he's already out so far, 37 pitches, but the one pitch, one out, certainly beneficial in that effort, as that's low, 2 balls and a strike. Callaway, 33 runs driven in the regular season, 12 doubles also in that span. But colder so far in this week of the postseason, as that one hits the outside corner for strike two. If you're just joining us, Cane Cutters getting both of their runs on a 2-run RBI double from catcher Trevor Durr out of John Melvin. And the Victoria Generals on a sacrifice fly from Dylan Flores. Both catchers producing so far in this TCL championship. That one's lined into center, but Connor Clark able to make the catch on a line. It's a line out to center, and it's 2 quick outs here in the third. Now we'll once again bring up Christian Garcia. Now we'll stand in. As we mentioned, the Katy native has already got 3 years in college baseball under his belt, 2 of which at Hills Community College, and now just coming off his first summer at Western Kentucky. We'll have 2 more years of eligibility at WKU, as that one's upstairs for ball one. And certainly has been able to play some high-quality baseball so far at the collegiate level. As Garcia. So that one's a swing and a foul tip off the inside part of the bat. It's a ball and a strike. Son of Mario Garcia, who's in logistics. His mother, Dania Garcia, a secretary. He's an older sibling, Marcus, currently majoring in finance at Western Kentucky, is Garcia. His biggest thrill in sports is winning a championship. Well, his side may very well do such a thing right now. 1-1's on the outside corner for strike two. His favorite athlete growing up was Lance Berkman, because he loved growing up and watching the Astros, and that's the reason why his number is his number. Wearing the number 9, wearing the number 17 tonight. He chose WKU because it felt like home, and he plans to play professional baseball after college. The 2-2 from Clack. Line drive to left. There's Broussard. He waits for it. He backs up a few steps and makes the catch, and the inning is over. First 1-2-3 inning of the night for Miles Clack here in the third, and a productive one to possibly keep him in this ball game longer. We head bottom 3. Still a 2-1 lead for the roadside here on the TCL Championship.
Makes us harder, better, faster, stronger. Work it harder, make it better. Do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour. Work is never over. Work it harder, make it better. Do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour. Work is never over. Work it harder, make it better. Do it faster, makes us stronger. More than ever, hour after hour. Work is never faster, stronger. Get harder, make it better. Do it faster, makes us
And back for the bottom of the third inning. You probably appreciate our kind of yellow/gold theme that we have going on, because one of these two teams is going to have gold in their possession by the end of the night. We'll be getting rings. We'll be having a full ceremony and be able to hold on to that trophy for the next 9 months before the 2025 summer begins in late May. As we head back for the bottom of the third inning here at Riverside Stadium. Max Cepeda here with you from the party box, as it will be 1, 2, 3, top third of the order as we flip things over for the first time for Michael Orris' starting 9. Anthony Avalos will step in for a second time. He was hit by a pitch on the first pitch he saw from Harper Jordan, and now we will face him once again. We'll see if it's a different approach here. First pitch, Avalos shows bunt, pulls back, and it's too far inside for ball 1. Anthony having an on-base streak then, one like we've not seen in recent TCL history. Coming into tonight with a 41-game on-base streak. He has reached all 3 games in this postseason, even for being a combined 2 for 12, with his only 2 hits being singles in Game 1 and Game 3. He does have 2 walks, does have 3 runs scored combined, also has a couple stolen bases as well, but has struck out a combined 6 times. 2-0. Inside, check swings. It is 3 balls and no strikes. Both catchers for both sides, the reason why we sit in this 2-1 scoreline. Jordan still on that far side of the rubber, the 3-0. Breaks on this outside corner for strike 1. Basically right down Main Street on the breaking ball, which so far has proven to be maybe Harper Jordan's best pitch. 3-1's line into right field, that will fall for a base hit. Third hit of the postseason for Anthony as he collects it on the line drive to right. And it's a 1-out and leadoff base runner here for the blue and gold, here for the red and blue, here in the bottom of the third. Reaching on a hit by pitch and walk so far tonight. And now in comes Connor Clark, the UT Tyler Patriot, who was named the UT Tyler Male Athlete of the Year across all sports. As we mentioned, came into tonight a combined 3 for 9 in this postseason. 5 strikeouts as well at the dish, but he's also stolen 3 bags, all 3 of which coming in Game 3 2 nights ago in the 6-1 victory that put the Generals in this game and got them the ability to host this game, having the overwhelmingly better overall record. 1-0 to Clark, shows bunt again, and it's laid down just foul. Avalos could be on the verge of playing aggressive again on the base paths. Clark, a Sherman, Texas native, 68 miles north of Dallas. Batted .301 in 36 games for the Patriots, members of the Lone Star Conference in the NJCAA. He's known for his productiveness on both on and off the field, on the diamond and in the classroom. 1-1, Clark shows bunt again, and it's once again fouling on the hands, and the bunt will have to be removed from his game plan now. It's 1-2. Clark finished his first pictured season with 19 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. He also off the field noticed, or notched I should say, 10+ hours of community service and worked towards a 3.5 GPA as a student in his freshman year. Bright future is the future of Connor Clark. 1-2, there goes Avalos. Again, will he be tagged out? We'll see. He'll be close, but not able to collect the ball. He's Parker Gwynn. As Gwynn not able to collect it, as it's going to be a called strike 3. So the 1-out is still recorded on the called strike 3 to Clark. But instead of the out being the runner on base already, it's the runner at the plate. As Avalos succeeds in his second effort with stealing a base, he steals now his 3rd bag of the postseason and his 38th combined this summer. So it's a looking strikeout for Clark, and now here comes Cameron Nickens. And before a pinch is thrown, a quick meeting here between Harper Jordan and Trevor Durr. Durr with a 2-run RBI double down the left field line in the top half of the second inning that has the Cutters their 2 runs. Only a combined 3 hits so far in this one. Avalos now sitting in scoring position, the second runner in scoring position for Victoria tonight. The 50th pitch in coming from Jordan, and instead we a pickoff throw that's wide. It's wide off Gwynn, and there goes Anthony Avalos. Will be a close play at third. It's not in time. And one hops and it goes away, but Avalos will stay at third base. Anthony Avalos staying conservative, but he advances 90 feet on the E2 committed by Durr. So Durr with a wide left throw to Parker Gwynn at second base. Avalos with a throw from center field from Ashton Quiller that hit basically the top part of his dome on his batting helmet and ricocheting towards the wall down the left field line. He was being instructed by some of his teammates to say, hey, go home, but him staying at the pace, and there goes Cameron Nickens' bat. It just goes right over the head of the bat boy sitting just along the wall on the inner part of the dugout, but just flying right over the head of both the bat boy and Drew Schmidt, who currently sits in the hole right now, and now that very same bat boy will give Cameron Nickens back his bat. But now it looks like he's going to pick a different bat. Nickens down on the count 0-1 from what we know, is now he's looking at his dugout and he's trying to pick which bat to use. And if I'm a King Cutters fan, I'm like, wait, why are you deciding to pick a different bat mid-at-bats? But I guess if you lose your bat, you have the excuse to switch out bats. So Nickens will now come back to the dish with a new bat. And it is no balls and a strike here to Cameron. An 0-1 count with Anthony Avalos sitting 90 feet away, representing as the tying run for Victoria. 0-1 from Jordan. It hits the outside corner for strike two. Great breaking ball from the Nichols State corner, from the Nichols State Colonel. Trying to come through in the biggest night of the season for the boys from Lafayette. That one's fouled back to the screen. Nickens staying aggressive. Ilan Balmaceda remains in the Generals bullpen. He's not throwing right now. He is just sitting in the pen alongside Evan Eslaxon, as Miles Clack will more likely than not come back out for the fourth. 0-2 again. Outside corner, called, strike three. Back-to-back called strikeouts for Harper Jordan as he pumps his fist and pumps his chest with two gone here in the third. Runner still sits 90 feet away, and now here comes Travis Bragg. Travis Bragg 0 for 1 with a line out to center. TCL MVP candidate who ended the regular season leading the TCL in batting average, in OPS, and in slugging. Was second in on-base percentage, just behind his former Generals teammate, Damian Whitfield. First pitch, ground ball to the left side. That one will not get through. Long throw from Snyder, and it's over the hands of Bryce Callaway. We are tied at 2. A wide throw from Reed Snyder in third brings home the tying run for the red and blue. And we could be in for a thriller, folks, here in the 2024 TCL Championship. So Avalos comes in to score, and Bragg will now sit at first on the E5. Second error of this inning. Committed by Acadiana, one by their catcher, and now one by their third baseman. Drew Schmidt will chop this one back to Snyder, and he collapsed the ball again. Second consecutive pitch where Reed Snyder can't corral the baseball. First, a throwing error on his part, and now this time, a defensive miscue. And now head coach Darian Dukes wants a conversation with Harper Jordan. And Jordan, visibly frustrated, and looks like that's going to be ruled a base hit for Schmidt, as it was a difficult play, and Harper Jordan's night is done. Runners at first and second with two gone. The go-ahead run in scoring position in the form of Bragg. And a new in on the mound for the King Cutters. On the other side here on TCL TV, and an all-tied ball game at 2. Generals bouncing back with a run in each of the last 2 innings on TCL TV. Here in the bottom of the third inning, a pitching change already for the Acadiana King Cutters, and it is going to be Tyler Valeno, the Kenner, Louisiana native and the junior out of New Orleans, the privateer, will now be coming in with the go-ahead run in second base in scoring position with 2 gone here in the third as Harper Jordan's night is done. Valeno 0-4 with a 4.68 ERA and 11 appearances, 6 starts for the Cutters, 32 2/3 innings pitched, 35 hits allowed, 19 walks to 20 strikeouts. Has allowed at least 1 earned run in each of his last 6 appearances, including allowing 5 earned runs against the Victoria Generals in just a third of an inning. That was back on June 22nd, however, and he got the loss in that contest. Jarvis Bragg at second base, Schmidt at first. As that one's lined up the middle, and there goes the shortstop on the part of Hornbach, and he can't make the play. Tanner Hornbach now miscollapsed the ball. And the King Cutters defense is collapsing here in the third inning. It is a bases loaded, now 2-out situation as Diego Diaz grounds this one right up the middle. And Tanner Hornbach letting it corral just off the inside part of his glove. And it's going to be ruled an error. And the E6, the third error of the inning. 1 from the catcher, 1 from third baseman Reed Snyder, and 1 from Tanner Hornbach. The catcher, Trevor Durr. Bragg at third, Schmidt at second, Diaz at first for Jacob Sanchez. First pitch is grounded in the left. There is Snyder. Will corral the ball over to second. It is not in time. The go-ahead run left is stranding 90 feet away, and it's a stranding of bases loaded from Tyler Valeno. What a way to escape the jam. As Bragg left stranded 90 feet away, as are the bases loaded. But we are all squared at 2. Just a third of the way to the TCL Championship here from Riverside Stadium. 2-2. We go to the fourth on the other side. Into the fourth inning, still now at an even 2-2 ball game. As we come back here to Riverside Stadium, Max Cepeda here in the party box with you. 5, 6, and 7 of the King Cutters order due up with Jose Torres leading things off. Generals coming back from a 2-0 deficit with runs in each of the last 2 innings. They strand the bases loaded, though, to end the bottom of the third. Against new pitcher Tyler Valeno. Miles Clack remains on the mound for the red and blue. And it's an outside cold strike 1 to Jose Torres. Torres, a walk and run scored already tonight. 0-1 hits the outside corner for strike 2. The unprecedented part, though, if you're just joining us, 3 errors from the Acadiana King Cutters in the bottom of the third alone from catcher Trevor Durr, third baseman Reed Snyder, and shortstop Tanner Hornbach. 2 throwing errors and a fielding error, as resulting in the 1 run. So only one of the 2 Victoria runs so far tonight have been earned runs. The other coming on a sacrifice fly by Dylan Flores, who's behind the plate, making the catching signals for your Generals. 2-2 for Miles Clack. Swinging a foul off the end of the bat, and we do it again. Regardless of what TCL fan base you are, if you're joining us and you're watching a Generals contest for the first time, we're happy that you're spending this Saturday night on the first Saturday in August with us to see the new champion of this league be crowned. Whether it's a second in 3 years for the boys of Lafayette or the first in 6 long years for the men of the Crossroads. 2 runs on 2 hits and 3 errors, with 2 runners left on base for Acadiana so far. Generals, 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 5 runners left on. That one's high and flied into the infield. It's in foul territory. Sanchez is there. He waits for it. Makes the catch for out number 1. Now we'll send up Ashton Quiller, who popped out to Sanchez on the first pitch that he saw as well. As we mentioned, Quiller has become a form of a folk hero for Acadiana much of this summer. First pitch he sees is just outside for ball 1. Quiller, the Nichols State Colonel, the 2-time Southland Conference champ, did not play his freshman season, but in 42 games this summer batted .273 as that one's crushed on the left field line and will go away foul. That possibly could have left the yard. If he stayed in front of it, it did not leave the yard eventually. It was just hopped a 1 hop in front of the left field wall in foul territory. It's 1-1. Quiller, 30 runs scored, 45 hits, 15 RBIs, 19 walks, 36 strikeouts, 16 stolen bases for the speedy center fielder. Swing and a miss, strike 2. He's an alum of Barb High School, famous baseball high school in Lake Charles. As we mentioned, was 4 for 9 in this postseason coming into tonight with an extra base knock and 2 RBIs. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Miles Clack in the 4th inning as it's a drop third strike collects finally his first punch out of the TCL championship with now 2 gone here in the 4th. And Reed Snyder, who singled and scored back in the 2nd, will now stand in. Clack has now retired each of the last 7 King Cutters he's faced, trying to stay on this roll. First pitch from Miles is breaking ball that hits just below the zone for ball 1. Nearly deuces wild on the score bug and straightaway left field here at Riverside. The 1-0. High fly ball to right, going after it's Nickens. He's still going to his left. He loses his cap, but he'll make the catch. And it's another 1-2-3 for Clack. He has retired his last 8 in a row. We head to the 5th. Can the Generals take their first lead of the TCL Championship? We'll find out on the other side here on TCL TV for your exclusive championship presentation. Broussard Did You Know, presented by Whataburger. Of course, it's a flashback from 2 years ago when the King Cutters won their first championship in franchise history in this very building with a game-tying home run and a go-ahead RBI double in the 7th and 8th inning, respectively, to overcome what was then a 2-run lead for Victoria heading into the 7th. As we head to the bottom of the 4th of this TCL championship, and it will be 8-9-1 for your Victoria Generals as Dylan Flores leads things off, who already has the sacrifice fly that provided the first of Victoria's 2 runs. That one's a called strike 1. Flores in his second at-bat of the night. We'll see how much longer he stays in this game. As that one's outside for ball 1, as he has been pinch hit for in each of the last 2 by Hal Perez, including being subbed in a pinch running situation for Mario Mendoza Jr. As this one's grounded to the third base side. There is Snyder, going to make a direct throw to first in time with ease for out number 1 here in the 4th. So now Trey Broussard will stand in. Broussard 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice ground out to third. That ended an inning which the Generals had runners at first and second with 1 out, but right after the sacrifice fly that collected the second out, couldn't drive in anymore. That one's outside 1-0 to the soon-to-be Houston Cougar. 5 RBIs in each of his last 2 games, all of which coming from the long ball. An inside the park home run in game 2 and a 2-run bomb in game 3 as that one's low. 2 balls and no strikes to Trey. Trey's real name, Charlie Broussard III. Has more baseball experience than anyone in his family. His father having some experience at the high school level, but certainly not to the level of his son. As that one's grounded to the first base side. Bryce Callaway's there, and he'll collect it with ease and tag the first base bag. And it's 2 quick outs here in the 4th. 2 quick ground outs to Flores and Broussard, and we head back to the top of the order for Anthony Avalos, who so far is one of 3 Generals to reach base in each of his first 2 plate appearances tonight on a hit by pitch and single. Just one of Victoria's 2 hits on the night. Also scored the tying run of this game. Tyler Valeno, as we mentioned, remains in this ball game for Acadiana, as that one's upstairs for ball 1. Valeno replacing King Cutter starter Harper Jordan, as that one is just below the zone, as Trevor Durr trying to make a framing of that one, even though it was far and wide. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Miles Clack currently at 58 pitches. We'll see how much longer the leash wants to be if you're head coach Michael Oros. It is now a 3-0 count to Avalos. It's already finished the season with an extended on-base streak of 42 games. As that one is upstairs for ball 4. 4-pitch walk to the Ant-Man, who walks 90 feet here with 2 gone. As he represents as the Generals go-ahead run, now comes in Connor Clark, who is 0 for 2 with a ground out and strikeout. And now you can hear the ball 5 chants coming from Generals fans. Here it comes. And it does not become ball 5. It hits the outside corner for strike 1. So there goes Avalos again. The 0-1 will be close. It is not in time. Anthony with a second stolen base. He has tried to steal second in all 3 times he has reached, and is successful 2 of the 3 times, each of the last 2 innings. Now 5 stolen bases, or 4 stolen bases this summer. So that one is just below and hits the inside corner for strike 2. 1-2 count here for Clark. Trying to escape the inning again is Valeno after he left the bases loaded on in the 3rd. 1-2. Outside corner and out just too far out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Already 15 pitches in an inning of relief. Wide open hole on that right side of the infield for Clark. UT Tyler Male Athlete of the Year. Can he come through right here to give the Generals an early First lead of the game as Callaway looking at the foul ball chance and just missed it as it falls right by some fans sitting in the gallery down the right field line. It is still an even 2-2 count. Avalos sitting at second on a walk and then stole second base. His second stolen bag of the night. 2-2 count, 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth of the 2024 TCL Championship. Here it comes. Ground ball to the third base side, just foul. Victoria defeated Acadiana back in 2018 for their second TCL championship, and what was the third straight year that the Cane Cutters made the TCL title game only to lose. First 2 seasons losing to the Bombers and then losing to Acadiana, or then losing to Victoria, I should say, in 2018. 2-2's well outside, and Trevor Durr losing the ball, but Anthony Avalos still advancing regardless on the wild pitch. Not going to be ruled more likely than not a pass ball as Durr was able to keep the ball in front of him, but had to go well out of the catcher's stance to make the play, as Avalos now sits 90 feet away. Once again, the go-ahead run 90 feet away for the red and blue. And it hits the inside half, but it's called for ball 4. Runners at the corners with 2 gone. And the top 2 hitters in Avalos and Clark. And now, with an RBI chance to give the Generals the lead, is Cameron Nickens. The man who led the TCL in home runs this past summer with 4. 2 on the road, 2 at home, including a grand slam this summer out in Baton Rouge. First pitch well outside. Hits the corner for strike 1. So we mentioned Sergio Belazzi, the man calling the balls and strikes, and the man who leads this umpiring crew. The 0-1. Outside and low, ball on a strike here from Valeno. Nickens, the Magnolia, Texas native, came into tonight a combined 3 for 13 this postseason with a run scored and RBI. Mostly been hitting balls into the field. The 1-1. Low below the zone, 2 balls and a strike. Travis Bragg sits on deck for Victoria. More than 20 pitches in this first full relief inning for Valeno as a right-hander warms in the Acadiana bullpen. Outside again, 3 balls and a strike. Valeno, the outside slider that he's trying to hook to the back door to right-handed hitters, not working. The lefty Travis Bragg now going to have to deal with the righty if Nickens reaches base. The 3-1. Outside and hits the corner for strike 2. No throw as Connor Clark will just strut over to second base with ease as he technically steals second base. It's the 3rd stolen base of the inning. 2 from Avalos, and now 1 from Clark. Runners at 3rd and 2nd. Payoff from Valeno. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Tyler Valeno retires Nickens and leaves 5 runners on base in the last 2 innings alone. We head to the 5th, still all even at 2 in the TCL Championship. back here in the TCL Championship game from Riverside Stadium in Victoria, Texas. As Miles Clack will come back out for a 5th inning of work. We head to the 5th inning. That is the bracket as you've seen. The big storyline, though, if you're just joining us, Victoria leaving runners on base, leaving the bases loaded, stranded at the end of the bottom of the 3rd, and leaving runners at 2nd and 3rd to end the 4th. That now makes it a combined 7 runners left on base for the Generals. But still no hits in that 4th inning. Both base runners coming in the form of walks. It's 8-9 and 1, with Trevor Durr leading things off as that one is just below the knees for ball 1. Durr, the entire reason why the King Cutters have their 2 runs in this ball game, with a 2-run RBI double down the left field line on a ground ball that went all the way to the left field corner. 1-0 is lined into center, and that will drop for a base hit. What a night for Trevor Durr, as he is 2 for 2 with an RBI double and single. As he is putting in the effort on just the 3 pitches he's seen, he's 2 for 2 with 2 base knocks. The leadoff base runner for the King Cutters here in the 5th. So now Parker Gwynn will stand in. Flied out to right to end the 2nd inning. Cutters have yet to score since, as Clack had retired his previous 8 hitters faced before that single by Durr, as that one is a check swing. He went around for strike 1. Here to Gwynn. Gwynn, a second-half signing, Lafayette local product. 2 for 7 in this postseason combined, 14 for 68 this summer in 19 games, batting .206. A 1 from Clack. At the bottom of the zone, called strike 2. Clack with only 1 strikeout tonight. Coming in the last inning as Elon Balmaceda continues to throw in the Generals bullpen. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3 at the high fastball. Second strikeout in the last 4 batters faced, and a big out number 1 for Clack here in the 5th. Now Tanner Hornbach will stand in. Hornbach, the leadoff man, 0 for 2 with a flyout and ground out, and this could very well be the end of the night for Clack with Michael Oros, and he will point to his bullpen. Miles Clack, the 2-year Generals veteran in 21 and 24, will now leave this game here in the 5th inning with 4 1/3 innings of 2-run baseball and 3 hits as he leaves the runner stranded at first base, and Elon Balmaceda will now step in to take the ball from the southpaw. Southpaw to southpaw exchange. We'll tell you about Balmaceda's story when we come back here on TCL TV, here on the 5th of the TCL Championship. Riverside Stadium. Leon Balmaceda now stands in for your Victoria Generals with a runner at first base here in the 5th inning. Balmaceda, the Cyprus current native but originally of Nicaragua. The Stephen F. Austin soon-to-be senior, 1-1 with a 4.5 ERA in 5 appearances with a save. 12 innings pitched, 10 hits, 6 walks, 11 strikeouts. This is his first appearance at Riverside Stadium. All of his previous 5 coming on the road. Twice in Baton Rouge, twice in Bryan College Station, and once in Seguin where he collected his 1 win. That's a breaking ball low for ball 1. Had the opportunity to travel with the Generals to Seguin back in mid-July, and the second half signing in Balmaceda made his presence known that night with 4 1/3 innings of 1-run relief. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. At the plate right now is Tanner Hornbach, the leadoff man for Acadiana, who was 0 for 2 on the night with a flyout and ground out to center and shortstop. 2-0. Inside, strike 1 on the breaking ball. And what a moment for the Nicaraguan in Balmaceda, the son of Omar and Soñora Balmaceda, he's brother to one sister, Aileen. That one's between the legs of Flores, and that will advance 90 feet, as that will be a passed ball. 3 balls and a strike. Well, the ball in the dirt, but it will advance Durr 90 feet as he now sits in scoring position with 1 gone. So Durr now is sitting at second on the pass ball. The 3-1 pitch awaiting from Balmaceda. Here it comes. Inside, ball 4. Runners at first and second now with 1 gone. And the King Cutters looking to seize back their lead here. And the heart of their order due up, and Alex Saunier now stands in. Saunier tonight, 0 for 1 with a walk back in the first. Durr at second, Hornbach at first. Wind not much of a factor now as the sun has nearly completely set. First pitch well outside for ball 1. Balmaceda transferred to Stephen F. Austin from Angelina College. Was named to the JUCO All-Star game. Named to second team All-State and was district MVP as well. Also has a brother in Eli Omar. Balmaceda's 1-0. Fouled back to the screen, ball and a strike. As for the man he's facing in Saunier, Lafayette native, played 51 games for the Privateers. It's been his previous 2 seasons at LSU Eunice, which just won a NJCAA national championship. 1-1. Fouled down the left field line. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Played baseball in Lafayette High School. Earned second team All-District honors as a sophomore. Also played football and was the team's starting quarterback and threw for over 1,700 yards in his junior season while still playing baseball. 1-2 to Saunier. Upstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. His current brother, Grayson, currently playing football at Dartmouth. Sports-loving family, I should say, are the Sauniers. Looking to come through here in the TCL Championship. 2-2 is low, and a great block there by Flores to keep it in front, preventing the runners from advancing, and a payoff pitch now awaits. And Balmaceda looks like he's going to need something to grip, and it looks like he may need a towel. So assistant coach Xavier Moore is ready to assist a towel. Balmaceda's like, you know what, I'm good. So he might want to touch the rubber once more. And the towel that's already on the mound. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Trevor Durr, which singled the lead off the inning, sits at second base. And Tanner Hornbach, who walks, sits at first. King Cutters at an early 2-0 lead on a 2 RBI double from Durr. Victoria with 2 runs each in the second, or a run each in the second and third, respectively. Payoff. Foul down the left field line again. We stay where we are. Already 11 pitches from Balmaceda. Just his second batter faced, and another lefty or another righty. We're only warming in the General's pen. All hands on deck on the final game of the summer. The payoff. A slow ball forward. Back-to-back walks for Balmaceda. And the bases are now loaded here with only one gone. And a man who has only made 5 previous appearances in his first year in front of the Riverside Stadium faithful. Now in a little bit of a bind here. And the worst possible man you want to face now sits at the dish in the form of Bryce Callaway, the RBI leader across the TCL. First pitch, inside, ball 1. Balmaceda moving from the right side of the rubber to the left. Now against Callaway. You mentioned, though, coming into tonight, was 1 for 7 this postseason. Is 0 for 2 tonight, including grounding into a fielder's choice back in the first. It is 2-0. 5 consecutive balls from Balmaceda, and Michael Oros already might be wanting the urge to pull the plug here. He understands the risk. And Balmaceda already in this very tricky situation. We are already here in the 5th, and he'll make the point. So Balmaceda just faces 3 batters and walks 2 of them, and his night is already over. We'll talk about the new man on the mound for Victoria on the other side as the bases are loaded with only one gone. King Cutters on the verge of retaking the lead in the TCL Championship. Not often do you see someone call for a pitching change mid-at-bat, but that's exactly what happened here as Elian Balmaceda was facing his 3rd batter of this inning in Bryce Callaway. He walked the first 2 and is quickly pulled out now with a 2-0 count on the RBI leader across the TCL, and Bryce Callaway in a massive moment in the 2024 Texas Collegiate League Championship with catcher Trevor Durr at 3rd base. Tanner Hornbach sitting at 2nd base, their shortstop, and their left fielder, Alex Saunier, sitting at 1st. The go-ahead run, 90 feet away to give the King Cutters back their lead, which so far they have yet to give up. Julio Garcia, the UT Tyler right-hander, will now stand in, as now all 3 Patriots now sit just in the infield alone. 2-0, upstairs. Got Clark in center field, that was my apologies. And Drew Schmidt at 3rd base, but 1 ball away from Garcia from handing the King Cutters back their lead. A 3-0 count with the bases loaded with only 1 gone here in the 5th. Garcia on the right side of the rubber, and it just hits the outside part of the zone, strike 1. Double play ends the inning for the red and blue if they can get it. Garcia 2-1 with a 4 ERA. Swing and a miss, strike 2. In 6 previous appearances, has a save. 5 hits, 6 walks, 5 hits, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts. As a second-half signing has yet to face the King Cutters this summer. A 3-2. Lined in a second and caught by Diego Diaz. The runners go back to where they are, and there is now 2 gone. Diaz trying to go for the double play in both 2nd and 1st, but he makes the line drive catch as Callaway is retired. A massive out number 2 for the Generals. So the base runners remain where they are, and now Christian Garcia will get the RBI chance. Garcia, a second half signing. First pitch outside for ball one, but that one's actually called strike one. How, my goodness. That one I thought nearly hit the dirt, but apparently it hit the bottom part of the zone, so it's called strike one. Here against Garcia, who's 0 for 2 tonight with a grounded and flyout. Lines this one in the left center. This could drop. One's going to have to dive. Broussard makes the catch! Trey Broussard for a third straight night. This time with his glove, makes a diving catch to strand the bases loaded in the fifth of the TCL Championship. We're halfway home. 2-2 still the scoreline on TCL TV. Riverside Stadium, and what a thrilling TCL championship it has been. What will certainly add to this history graphic. You see only one of those top two on your screen. We'll be adding another year to their ledger in the form of 2024 as Julian Garcia now steps in as the third different King Cutter arm as we head now to the bottom half of the fifth inning and beginning the second half of this TCL championship. Garcia 1-1 with a 2.29 ERA. In 9 appearances, including 4 starts. 31 1/3 innings pitched, 20 hits, 16 walks, 25 strikeouts. Has been a signing since the beginning and has faced Victoria twice. Both games ended up being losses for the King Cutters. Gave up 2 earned runs in the contest back on June 27th, which, if you may remember, was the longest game in General's history. 4 hours and 27 minutes, which finished in a 9-8, 12-inning walk-off thriller. 4-5-6 lead things off as Travis Bragg takes the ball just low for ball one. King Cutters leaving the bases loaded to end the top half of the fifth on the fly ball to left, in which Trey Broussard made a diving, rolling catch to save at least the go-ahead run, possibly more. As the King Cutters have now joined Victoria into stranding the runners, stranding the bases loaded. And we're only able to collect 1 hit in that fifth inning as well. The 1-0. Just below the zone, 2 balls and no strikes. Bragg, so far tonight, is 0 for 2, but reached in the third inning on an error by the third baseman in Snyder. That one's grounded into right field for a base hit. Second consecutive inning, or second time in the last 3 innings, in which the Generals begin things with a leadoff base knock, and it comes from Travis Bragg. Now 1 for 3. As Drew Schmidt will now stand in. Schmidt, 1 for 1, does have a walk and scored back in the second. and singled back in the third and was stranded at second base. 2 runs on 3 hits so far for both sides. One team, though, with 3 errors, that being the King Cutters. As so far, they have yet to give up a lead that they've yet to get back since the 3rd inning. As we've now been tied for 3+ half innings now, as it's an 0-1 count here to Schmidt. Garcia on that far left side of the rubber, uncommon for a right-hander. Throws it over to first on the pickoff. Garcia, a homecoming for him. The Houston native calling this ballpark home as a member of the UH Victoria Jaguars, teammates with Generals catcher Hal Perez. The 0-1, showing bunt is Schmidt, and it will go just foul. Now behind 0-2. He will look for an opportunity without the bunt, more likely than not, in his game plan. No one warming right now in Victoria's bullpen. Couple players stretching right now in the King Cutter bullpen as Garcia now is currently throwing. Fun fact, we have 2 Garcias currently throwing for both sides, with Julio Garcia and Julian Garcia. So please apologize me if I get confused between Julio and Julian. This is Julian on the mound for Acadiana. Julio will probably more likely than not return to the mound for the red and blue when we get to the top half of the 6th. 1-2 to Schmidt. Just below on that outside corner, 2 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, if you're wondering what those sounds are coming here from the party box, coming from our good friends Katie Potts and Abby Dadir, 2 lifelong Generals fans who have been living in this town nearly their whole life, who have been following this organization from the day they were nearly born, as that one's low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. And as I mentioned, they are right now currently both in college, so you gotta imagine how old they were the last time we had, or they had experienced the Generals Championship 6 years ago. The payoff. Outside ball, called strike 3. Schmidt waiting for the called strike 3 from Sergio Balazzi until the last minute. But it's a big out, number 1 for Garcia as he sends Schmidt back to the dugout. So now in comes Diego Diaz, who now will stand in. Double play ends the inning now if you're Acadiana. And in total, it is just the 4th punch out of the night for King Cutter pitching. All of them coming in the last 3 innings. So Diego Diaz, who's reached base twice on a hit by pitch and error, will now stand in. Still technically 0 for 11 this postseason. So that one is just below, but hits the outside corner of the zone as Diaz stuck out the back too far on the bunt attempt. It's 0-1. Jacob Sanchez sitting in the on-deck circle. Garcia now near the center of the mound. The 0-1 is low. Ball and a strike. Great job by Durr to stay in front of that one. Sold out crowd here at Riverside. Nearly over capacity. This TCL Championship filled with fans who have been dedicated for years, even decades. Others maybe on Riverside for the first time. 1-1 is a high fly ball to left. Going after it, though, is Saunier. He sits underneath it. He waits for it, backs up a couple steps, and makes the catch for out number 2 as Bragg remains at first base. And now coming in will be Jacob Sanchez, as he will now stand in with Bragg still remaining at first. Who still represents the go-ahead run. The Generals have left 5 runners on, have left a combined 7 runners on base in each of their last 3 innings of offense, 5 of which in scoring position. 6 of which in scoring position, I should say. First pitch is outside for ball 1. Sanchez tonight 0 for 1, had a walk back in the second, but grounded into a fielder's choice with the bases loaded back in the third as his opportunity passed him. Looking to come through right here and keep the inning alive here in the 5th. Garcia's 1-0. Line drawn the left field line. That will go way foul just to the left of the Generals bullpen, 1-1. Sanchez going to be teammates with former Victoria General Damian Whitfield at UTRGV this coming spring, and what will be both of their final years of college eligibility. That one is outside, but hits the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes, just clipping That outside right chalk, nearly into the right-hand side batter, or nearly into the left-handed hitter's batter's box. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Garcia looking to get out of the inning and keep the tied ball game into the 6th. 1-2. Outside corner, nearly identical pitch, but it's not called this time. Even count, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 runs on 3 hits for both sides. One side with 3 errors, that being Acadiana. 7 runners left on for Victoria. 5 for the men from Lafayette. 2-2. There goes Bragg. Foul. Just above the general dugout. Standing at 6'2", 220, the senior in Sanchez, native of San Juan, just 10 miles northeast of the Mexico border. Just not that far away from UTRGV, staying close to home. And his girlfriend that he has had since he was nearly 13, who is in the stands tonight. Ground ball down the left field line, remains 2-2. Sanchez and Garcia battling. And you gotta imagine the emotions for Garcia. Pitching against Victoria for the first time, pitching in his current ballpark as a player with UH Victoria. Now doing so in a championship game. And the butterflies going through him with his family in attendance. The 2-2. There goes Bragg again. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Again, Victoria leaving runners on base. And again, the King Cutters shutting the door. We head to the 6th. Still all squared at 2 as Garcia pumps his fist, heading back to the dugout here on TCL TV. We head to the 6th. Our Did You Know, presented by Whataburger. For those of you watching a Generals broadcast for the first time, maybe here for this TCL Championship, we do this every night where we highlight a fact about the TCL or about the Generals that you may not know. And of course, 2 short years ago, the last time these two faced off in a TCL Championship, Acadiana winning with a go-ahead run and an RBI double in the top of the 8th, a tying home run in the top half of the 7th to win it 6-5 in their first ever TCL Championship in their nearly 16-year-long history. As we head to the 6th inning, still all squared at 2. Julio Garcia, from one Garcia to the other, now steps back in. It's Julio's first full inning of work after coming in and collecting the final 2 outs of the 5th. And leaving the bases loaded thanks to an incredible heroic play by Trey Broussard, diving for a ball in left center to keep the ball game scoreless, or keep the ball game tied at 2 runs apiece. 5, 6, 7 due up. Jose Torres, the designated hitter, will lead things off. First pitch he sees is on the outside corner for strike 1 on the slider from Garcia. Garcia, UT Tyler Patriot, teammates with Drew Schmidt at third base and Connor Clark in center field. The 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Eight runners left on just 3 hits tonight for Victoria. They've been given a whole lot of chances by this Cane Cutters pitching staff, and they have yet to come through on majority of those chances. Meanwhile, the Cane Cutters got nearly as many runners on base, and similarly enough, been left just knocking on the door for each of the last 3, as that's a swing and a miss. First strike 3, Julio Garcia's first punch out of the night, and just the 3rd of the night for Victoria pitching. 1 gone here in the 6th. Near the 9 o'clock hour here in the Central Time Zone as Ashton Quiller now steps in. Quiller 0 for 2 with a pop out and strikeout looking tonight. First one to Quiller, breaking ball that just went above the zone, ball and no strikes. Quiller had 3 walk-offs this summer, 2 of which early in the month of July, and it was kind of the kickstarter for this Cane Cutters run in the second half, where they went 14-9, won 10 of their last 11 regular season games. That one's fouled back, even count. And Quiller, while not having the best batting average, batting around 220 this summer, we'll get an accurate number on that one for you. So he actually batted 273, so a fairly good summer, fairly better than average summer for Quiller, as that one's upstairs. But for the most part, his highlights were the clutch hits that he had, in which he came through the most. The Nickel State Colonel. 2-1 from Garcia as a swing and a miss on the sweeper. Quiller came into tonight 4 for 9 in the postseason with a stolen base, 2 RBIs, a triple, a run scored, but has struck out 3 times. Quiller's on base percentage in the 330s. Inside corner, cold, strike 3. Back-to-back punch-outs for Julio Garcia, and it's 2 gone here in the 6th. So that one is called looking, second straight at-bat for Quiller to be retired on strikes. And now Reed Snyder will step back in. Snyder 1 for 2 with a single and run scored back in the second. First pitch from Garcia is well outside for ball 1 on that same slider. Looks to be possibly the go-to against right-handed hitters. No one in the Generals' pen as of right now. Right-hander throwing in the Cane Cutter bullpen. Well upstairs and well behind the zone. Losing grip of that one was Garcia. It's 2-0. Now both Garcias, Julian and Julio, with 19 pitches each. As the wind continues to still blow out, as it looks like it's blowing out towards left center, coming from the right field parking lot. Down the right field line parking lot, I should say. It's 3 balls and no strikes. I want to thank our good friends at Interstate Batteries for sponsoring tonight's TCL Championship game, allowing everyone in this ballpark to come in free. 3-0, hits the top of the zone for strike 1. Both sides could be 12 or less outs away from a TCL championship. As the 3-1 could have been called for strike 2, but Sergio Belazzi says no thanks. It's a 5-pitch walk. And the 1-2-3 inning out of the cards for Garcia. As Snyder walks for the first time tonight, he is 1 for 2 and has reached base twice. Now Trevor Durr, who has had a spectacular night so far. A 2-run RBI double that's presided both of Acadiana's runs back in the second, and then a single in which he was stranded at third base back in the 4th. Well upstairs for ball 1, and there goes Snyder as he just advances another 90 feet on the wild pitch. Second wild pitch in the last 5 for Garcia. And the nerves and the stress kicking in for both sides, as it appears that Ryan Dugas is heading out to the Generals bullpen. Would be surprising to see Dugas starting to warm up, considering he finished the deal in the 9th inning on Thursday in Game 3 against Brazos Valley. But he's warming up right now, it appears. And what could potentially be a worst-case scenario if things goes awry for Garcia, as he quickly calls a late mound meeting here with Dylan Flores. Flores remaining in this ball game for Michael Oros. He will be due up to bat for what will be a 3rd time coming in the 6th. We'll see if we see a pinch hitting situation between him and Hal Perez coming up, or if they decide, Michael Oros decides to have Flores back for a 3rd time for the first time in a postseason game. 1-0 from Garcia. Fouled down the left field line off the inside part of the bat to Durr, 1-1. What a moment this could be for Durr. We mentioned already the all-time leader in games, hits, and walks at John Melvin University of the Lone Star Conference, in the same conference as Garcia. So a whole lot of familiarity between these two, with Durr having the majority of the success. Can he come through against a conference rival? 1-1 is outside, 2 balls and a strike. John Melvin did have a worse record than UT Tyler this past season. Both sides, though, falling short of a conference championship. Garcia looking to shut the door with a runner in scoring position, representing the go-ahead run. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Foul tipped into the glove. Garcia looking to strike out the side here in the 6th. 8-9-1. Flores, Broussard, and Avalos will be due up bottom half. Fans on the edge of their seats for both fan bases. Garcia looks back at second. The 2-2. Well outside. Great job by Flores by staying in front. It's 3-2. Sitting at second base is Reed Snyder, who walked with 2 outs and then went to second on a wild pitch. Representing another go-ahead run for these 2 sides, which is yet to come across in each of the last 2 innings. The payoff. Swing and a foul tip just over to the Generals' dugout underneath a few players' chairs. Looks like everyone was okay in that effort, but the payoff pitch still awaits here for Durr, who's been on his A game so far tonight, with the RBI double and the single back in the 4th, or in the 5th, I should say. Can he come through in a 2nd consecutive inning right here? The payoff. Line to the left, but there is Schmidt. Throw over to first, and the inning comes to an end. Garcia leaves the runner in scoring position, and we head to the bottom of the 6th. Still an even ball game at 2-2 as we head bottom 6 here on TCL TV. Here in Victoria on the banks of the Guadalupe River for the TCL Championship as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. All still squared at 2, and now a 4th different arm for the Acadiana King Cutters now comes in the form of Cade Lynn. Lynn, 1-1 with a 1.42 ERA in 8 appearances, 2 saves, 7 hits, 12 walks, 26 strikeouts. The junior 6'1", 195 out of Louisiana Christian, the side armor. Lynn throwing 3 innings of shutout relief with 1 hit and collecting the save in just a 2-run lead, and was able to seal the deal for the King Cutters to send them to this championship game. He's yet to allow a run in each of his last 4 outings, and it's probably been one of the more premier second-half signings for head coach Darian Dukes, as Lynn has yet to face this Generals offense all summer. And Michael Oros will have Dylan Flores back out for a 3rd at-bat for tonight. First time we have seen that all summer for him, as the right-hander currently is warming in the Victoria bullpen, and the same in the King Cutter bullpen. Both bullpens will be active tonight, in which everything is on the line. Lynn's first arm to Flores. Hits the outside half, but no call. Ball and no strikes. And to see Lynn back out here on the mound just 2 nights after he sent the King Cutters to the championship just shows how important it is to have that extra off day that the Victoria Generals did not have the benefit of having because of extending their series to 3 games, which gave Lynn the opportunity to have 2 days of rest and be prepared to throw an inning late here in the TCL Championship. The 1-1. Outside half, no call. All 3 of his pitches on that outside half from the sweeping side harmer. 2 balls and a strike here to Flores, who was 0 for 1 on the night, but had a sacrifice fly in the second to drive in Victoria's first run. High fly ball popped up into the infield. Going after it is the shortstop Hornback. He's calling for it, and he will make the catch. Nearly backing into his left fielder in Sanye as he makes an easy out number 1 here in the 6th. Flores, possibly his final at bat in a Generals uniform. We'll see if we see him again come the 7th. So now Trey Broussard will stand in. Broussard with nobody on. 0 for 2 on the night here in this championship with a fielder's choice ground out and a ground out to first. That one is outside and gets away for the backstop man and Durr. Ball and no strikes. Broussard heading to the University of Houston to team up with Anthony Avalos, who sits on deck. Joining a Houston ball club that was second to last in the Big 12 a summer ago, or a spring ago, as it is 2 balls and no strikes. Houston missing out of the Big 12 championship because of a disastrous 7-21 record in conference. 2-0. Lined up the middle, and that will get through for a base hit. Cade Lynn nearly knocked out on that line drive as he had to duck for his life after that line drive. And Broussard reaching base for the first time tonight here with 1 gone in the 6th. My goodness, is Cade Lynn okay? Well, it looks like he was just shaken up and his life flashed before his eyes, but he is all right. And we'll come back here on the mound to face his soon-to-be Houston Cougar teammate in Anthony Avalos, who has reached base all 3 times on a hit-by-pitch, single, and walk. He's also stolen 3 bases already tonight, and he's also was responsible for scoring the tying run. There goes Broussard. Will be a close play at second, and it gets behind. Great job of the shortstop Hornbach from preventing it from going into the field. But it is a stolen base on the part of Broussard as he now sits in scoring position representing the go-ahead run. It's a ball and no strikes to Avalos. Broussard making it the 5th stolen bag of the night for the red and blue. And Oros looks like he's might want to go out and check in on Broussard, as Broussard a little shaken up after sliding into second base. This is not what you want to see right now if you're a Generals fan, knowing how red hot Broussard has been on the plate. And Oros just checking in, but it looks like Broussard says he's okay. Maybe has some of the black pebbles from the artificial turf of the infield, maybe in his pants or in his gloves, but he says he's all right. He's a little shaken up, but he's all good. He's at second base after the stolen bag. It's a ball and no strikes to Anthony Avalos. Cade Lynn looking to make it 3 straight scoreless innings for this King Cutters bullpen with 3 different arms. 1-0 hits the inside corner, strike 1. Great breaking ball from Lynn. The Louisiana Christian right-hander. LCU, one of the lesser-known schools in the state. Just a combined 7 hits in this one from both sides. 1-1 Ant-Man. Well outside, and it gets well behind, and Broussard will advance 90 feet on the wild pitch. And for the 3rd time tonight, the Victoria Generals have the go-ahead run sitting 90 feet away. This time in the form of Broussard, who advances on a wild pitch that was well beyond the glove of Trevor Durr. Victoria has left 8 runners on base tonight, 5 of which in scoring position, 3 at third base. All of which coming in the span where the Generals had a chance to take the lead. 2-1. Infield in is too far outside, 3 balls and a strike. Connor Clark sits on deck as we sit at the top of the order. This is what you want if you're head coach Michael Oros. If you want to finally break down the door and get your first lead of this TCL championship. The 3-1. Outside half called, strike 2 on the slider. Nearly 13 pitches about to be incoming here for Lynn. As the arm that was throwing in the King Cutter bullpen has stopped for now. Same for Victoria. Payoff to Avalos. Swing and a miss, strike 3 into the glove. Kay Lynn with a massive out number 2. As that one retires Avalos and will send Connor Clark the go-ahead run, remaining 90 feet away with 2 gone. In one of his biggest at-bats of the season, Avalos slams his back down as he heads back to the dugout in frustration. Clark now looking for the chance to be the hero with Broussard 90 feet away. First pitch from Lynn. Breaking ball called, strike 1. That sweeping 12-6 curve and the slider on the inside door. Trying to fool these right-handed hitters is the sidearmer Lynn. A unique delivery that can fool the hitters if executed with brilliance. Trying to escape another jam. The 0-1. Outside and low. Clark tonight 0 for 2 with a walk back in the 4th. He stole second base and was left at second base in that effort. Now looking to come through here in a big way with 9 more outs to go. The 1-1. Outside, no call, 2 balls and a strike. You can even hear the murmurs coming from the right side of Riverside Stadium for the Acadiana King Cutters fan base, as they are even somewhat disturbed from the calls made by Sergio Balazzi tonight. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Another sweeping breaking ball. That has been the story. The Generals not able to get those breaking balls outside of the zone and going aggressive at the plate, going fishing for a whole lot of pitches that should not be swung at. Lynn looking to escape the jam. 2-2 to Clark. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another runner left in scoring position, and Lynn is fired up. We head to the 7th in a thrilling TCL championship, and we still remain tied going to the 7th. You're going to want to stick around, folks, here on TCL TV. Of TCL champions. See the gold numbers for the current franchises, the white numbers for the former franchises. As we head to the top half of the 7th in a 2-2 ball game. You could not ask for anything better than this for the 2 teams that have played like the 2 hottest in recent weeks and now are 9 outs away each from a TCL championship. It is going to be 9-1-2 to face Julio Garcia as Parker Gwynn possibly could have gone around. He does not. It's a ball and no strikes on the check swing from Gwynn. 0 for 2 tonight is Gwynn with a fly out to right and strikeout swinging. Garcia collecting 2 strikeouts back in the 6th. The 1-0. Inside, ball 1. Ball 2. And a very similar story between last year's TCL championship and this year. Low scoring, heavy bullpen pitching, and a whole lot of runners left on base. As that one is upstairs, 3 balls in, no strikes. Cutters so far leaving 3 runners on, or 6 runners on, I should say. Victoria leaving 9 runners on so far. 3-0, just hits the outside corner for strike 1 from Garcia. Let me remind you that Brazos Valley Bombers against last year's Acadiana Monsters and last year's TCL championship left 14 runners on base, 10 of which in scoring position. As that one's going to be a ball 4, as now with his second walk allowed tonight is Garcia, as he gives up a leadoff free pass to Parker Quinn, the 9-hole hitter. So now we flip things over to the top of the order and Tanner Hornbach, who is 0 for 2 with a walk back in the 5th. Cutters have had just as many as their own chances, as well as Victoria. Generals have just had more painful chances because they've been leaving more runners in scoring position than the King Cutters have. First pitch shows bunt, perfectly placed. Will going to be a tough play for Schmidt. Long throw, and it's nowhere near in time as Schmidt tripped over his own ankle trying to make the play. It's going to be an infield single as Schmidt tried to extend his life out there, but not able to make the play. It's runners at first and second with nobody gone here in the 7th. The 7th inning was the exact inning that Seguin was able to take the lead that they never looked back on in last year's title game. Cutters looking to do the same here. Alex Saunier now steps in. 2 walks tonight for the Cutter left fielder is also popped out as well. Garcia remains in this ball game as a lefty is currently throwing. That one's upstairs, ball 1. King Cutters have no left-handed arms in their bullpen. Generals have 4 the benefit of, as the lefty is currently throwing right now, not able to pick up the name. We saw Ryan Dugas in the bullpen earlier tonight. 1-0 from Garcia. Shows bunt. Does Saunier, but it's fouled to the top of the netting, and it's a ball and a strike. These 2 teams facing off in a TCL title game twice now, or now 3 times in the last 7 seasons. In 2018, Victoria won in commanding fashion. 2 years ago, Cutters winning in nearly close fashion. That one's grounded into foul territory. Sanchez could have made it fair if that one touched his glove, but he better be lucky that it did not, as possibly runners could have come home to score. As it's now an even count, 2 balls, or now it's a ball and 2 strikes here to Saunier. The RBI leader in the TCL and Bryce Callaway sits on deck. Still nobody out here in this 7th inning. King Cutters with a perfect opportunity to seize Victoria's missed opportunities and take back the lead. 1-2. Inside. Not able to corral it is Hal Perez, who is replacing Dylan Flores. As Perez, no surprise, now coming in for Flores, whose now night and season is done. Perez in for the final 3 innings with his veteran leadership. The UH Victoria Jaguar. 2-2. Swing and a ground ball just foul. Getting on top of that one was Saunier. 2 runs on 3 hits, 3 errors, and 6 runners left on for the King Cutters. 2 runs on 4 hits with no errors and 9 runners left on for Victoria. Looking for a go-ahead opportunity as Saunier. Here it comes. Outside, ball 3. Another payoff pitch. About to be 45 pitches in this relief outing for Garcia. As Landon Mauman, assistant coach for Victoria, just sits outside the door of the bullpen. Payoff to Saunier. Line drive to the left. Broussard's there. He stays in front, and he makes the catch for a massive out number 1. Broussard basically not having to move at all, as he was able to corral that one with ease on a line drive to left. Mark that L7 if you're scoring this at home. For out number 1, and now here comes Bryce Callaway. A double play does end the inning, which is in play for Victoria if they can get one. No double plays have been formed so far tonight by either side. First from Garcia. Upstairs for ball one. Callaway has come through so many times with this Cane Cutter squad this summer, with driving in runners, especially in late innings. There go the runners on the 1-0. It's a slow ground ball. Double play out of order, but Garcia will be able to collect the out in Callaway for out number 2. But the runners advance 90 feet. So it's now 2 gone. But now at third base sits Parker Gwynn. And now sitting at second base is Tanner Hornbach, both on the walk-in single respectively. And after the 3-1 ground out for Callaway, Christian Garcia with another RBI opportunity. He had the bases loaded back in the 5th when he had runners in scoring position and was surrendered due to the flyout hit left by Trey Broussard, in which he made the diving rolling catch back in the 5th. Garcia looking to shut the door here. First pitch hits the outside half for ball 1. These are some of the most tense moments in this ball game, in a winner-take-all championship game, with runners in scoring position and 2 gone. Can go one way or the other. 1-0, upstairs. Garcia's fastball command been on and off for much of the night. 2 balls and no strikes. Garcia tonight 0 for 3 with 2 flyouts to left, including a ground down back in the 1st. 2-0. Outside corner called, strike 1. Or no, actually it's going to be ball 3. It was a gesture from Sergio Palazzi to say that one was just a little outside on the backdoor slider from Garcia. Or backdoor slider from Garcia to Garcia. It's 2 Garcias facing each other right now. And one Garcia is going to prevail. Which Garcia will prevail? That is the question. It's 3-1. Christian Garcia at the dish. Julio Garcia on the mound. The pitcher's 3-1. High fly ball foul. And the payoff pitch awaits. Full count, 2 outs, top of the 7th, with runners at 2nd and 3rd in the TCL Championship game, which is all squared at 2. You could not want to be anywhere else but watching this right now. The payoff. Line drive and left. That one will go foul. Drew Schmidt goes after it, but it 1 hops the dirt and into the Generals bullpen. More likely than not, could be the final batter of the night for Garcia, regardless of what happens. Looking to shut the door and exchange runners left at 2nd and 3rd and get it to 8 runners left on for the Cane Cutters. Payoff again. Swinging a ground ball to 2nd. Diaz is there. It's a routine play to 1st, and it's there in time. We stretch here in the 7th. Garcia says this is his house as he walks back to the dugout. We head to the bottom of the 7th in stretch time for one final time at Riverside Stadium. We head bottom 7 in the TCL Championship. the bottom of the 7th inning of the TCL Championship, deep in the heart of Texas, playing over the loudspeakers for one final time in 2024 here at Riverside Stadium for your Victoria Generals, who are all squared at 2 against the Louisiana Division Champion Acadiana Cane Cutters in the TCL Championship game. If you're just joining us, Max Cepeda here from the Party Box, as it is 3-4-5. Nickens, Bragg, and Schmidt due up to face Cade Lynn in his 2nd inning of relief work, in which he left a runner 90 feet away in Trey Broussard and struck out the next 2 batters to retire the side. First pitch to Nickens, a brilliant breaking ball for strike 1. The side armor in Lynn from LCU, Louisiana Christian, pitching for his life after sending the Cane Cutters to this very game on Wednesday. Now pitching in the 6th and 7th of the championship game 3 days later. It's an even count 1-1 to Nickens, who tonight is 0 for 3 with a flyout and back-to-back punch-outs. 1-1. Another breaking ball, that's low, 2-1. And if you're the Victoria Generals, this is the opportunity to seize your first lead of the night. And more importantly, to find a way to attack these breaking balls. Be conservative at the plate, but find your pitch. 2-1's another breaking ball, and it's well low, 3-1. And if you're a Cane Cutter fan, you want more chases out of the zone, and you'd probably want more breaking balls right about now, because so far they've been executed to perfection in each of the last 3 innings, and which has kept the Generals off the board from taking their first lead. The 3-1. Low and inside, ball 4. Cameron Nickens with a 5-pitch walk. And for the 3rd time in the last 5 innings, the Generals lead off with a base runner. They left 9 runners on tonight to Acadiana's 8, a combined 17 runners left on, 13 of which in scoring position. Travis Bragg will now stand in, who is 1 for 3 with a single back in the 5th. Also triggered the game's tying run on the error committed by 3rd baseman Reed Snyder that drove in Anthony Avalos back in the 3rd. Possibly could be Bragg's final at-bat in a Generals uniform. The Texas State commit, who had a brilliant season at Vernon College. The incoming junior. First pitch from Lynn. Ground ball to the first base side, and it is going to be in fair territory. Over the head of Bryce Callaway. Bragg given to second base. Nickens into 3rd. He's given the stop sign there. Runners at 2nd and 3rd with nobody gone in the 7th. And Travis Bragg coming huge for possibly one final time. What a moment for the soon-to-be Texas State Bobcat, as Drew Schmidt now is given the golden opportunity to drive in Victoria's go-ahead run. And Cade Lynn now looking over at his team's bullpen as his pitching coach comes out here. Could be just a conversation here. His pitching coach, Spencer Drake, just having an opportunity to talk with the right-hander. Schmidt, who comes to the box next, is 1 for 2 with a single and strikeout, but walked and scored Victoria's first run back in the 2nd. And this is exactly what you wanted if you're Michael LaRose. You've been knocking on the door for the last 3 innings, trying to break that glass ceiling. And with the help of Drew Schmidt, who's now having a conversation, as you see on your far left side of the screen, with both Michael LaRose and assistant coach Xavier Moore, probably being given some one last fine advice, along with probably some motivation of trying to not only possibly give the Generals the lead, but what could possibly win them a TCL championship. Snyder and Callaway, the corner infielders, in on the infield grass. Nickens at 3rd, Bragg at 2nd. Nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th. Cade Lynn still in the ball game. First pitch. Line drive into center. This will drop. Nickens coming in to score. And for the first time tonight, the Victoria Generals have the go-ahead run as Travis Bragg now caught between 3rd and home and is tagged out on the way home. Drew Schmidt at 2nd base. Travis Bragg overran the 3rd base bag. It is going to be out number 1 as Bragg is tagged out between 3rd and home. It is going to be 3-2. Victoria now in front. And the first out now on the board with Schmidt standing at second base as the Generals take their first lead of the TCL Championship. An RBI single for Drew Schmidt, who advances to second base on the fielder's choice. Bragg tagged out on the way home for that first out. Nickens coming around to score. Now Diego Diaz stands in. First pitch outside, ball one. And it was a breaking ball right down the middle for Drew Schmidt, who has come through so many times in the last 2 weeks. The second half signing out of UT Tyler. What a school to produce big talent for this Victoria Generals squad in this month of July and postseason. 2 balls and no strikes to the UTSA Roadrunner and Diaz. Cutters losing control of this ball game for the first time tonight in the bottom of the 7th. Well, it could be a situation where a new arm comes in as a lefty still throwing in the Generals bullpen. 2-0 is fouled back to the screen. 2-1. Generals, who've had their backs against the wall in a whole lot of these home games, are 23-3 at home in a narrow pitcher's duel that has been back and forth with jam after jam, left taken advantage of. The 2-1. Outside, 3 balls and a strike. Schmidt will get credit for the go-ahead RBI, with Nickens coming to score as that one dropped right in front of Ashton Quiller. The 3-1 from Lynn. Outside, ball 4. Multiple runners remain on base for Victoria. Now with 1 gone, still with 1 gone here in the bottom of the 7th. With Schmidt at second and Diaz at first. Now for Jacob Sanchez, who has had chances and chances tonight to come through, and so far he has yet to do so. Al Perez, the pinch-hitting catcher, sits on deck. Sanchez tonight 0 for 2, but walked back in the second.
That'd be good. I'd like to make a bubble shot. You're my little alcoholic.
First pitch to Sanchez, brilliant breaking ball for strike 1. Now 30 pitches for Lynn following that first pitch. It appears it may be Ryan Dugas who comes into this ball game for the 8th with possibly a 1-run lead. The 0-1. Breaking ball that's over the head of Lynn. Second baseman makes the tag for 1. Over to first, that's 2. What a double play! 4-3 double play as Lynn yells as he heads to the dugout. But it's a 1-run lead, the first of the night for the Victoria Generals. They have 6 more outs to get. We head to the 8th here on TCL TV with a new man on the mound, more likely than not, coming up. Head to the 8th inning of the Texas Collegiate League Championship game in 2024. And the Southwestern Oklahoma transfer and Murray State left-hander, Ryan Dugas, will now step into this game and replace Julio Garcia after finishing off the 9th inning just 2 nights ago. In that ball game, Dugas throwing 31 pitches, striking out the side in the 9th, but allowed a base hit in that span and only faced 4 batters, so probably the pitch count is the reason why head coach Michael Oros decided to go with Dugas in this massive, huge situation. Dugas, of course, a well-known figure in the Victoria community with this ball club. Last summer, 0-1 with a 2.38 ERA and 11 appearances. This summer, following last night's contest, Dugas in total now this summer. The left-hander at 5'11", 175 is 1-0 with a 1.58 ERA and 6 appearances, 11 1/3 innings, 10 hits, 4 walks, 15 punch-outs. He leads things off with Jose Torres. And the first pitch is well outside for ball 1. He will face 5, 6, 7 here in the 8th with Torres, Quiller, and Snyder. Torres tonight 0 for 2 with a walk and run scored back in the 2nd. 1-0 outside, 2 balls, no strikes. Acadiana with a right-hander throwing currently right now in their bullpen. So most likely, Cade Lynn's night is done after 2 innings of relief work in which he gives up the go-ahead run. Torres shows bunt, but it hits the outside corner for strike 1. If you're just joining us and you missed the go-ahead run, it was an RBI single from Drew Schmidt in the bottom half of the 7th to give the Generals their first lead of this championship game. Upstairs, 3 balls and a strike. You gotta imagine for Dugas, who is known for his loud and brash personality, known for being one of the funniest men in that clubhouse, how fast his heart is beating right now with 6 outs to get. 3-1's upstairs, ball 4. Just his 5th walk of the summer as Ryan hands Jose Torres his 2nd free pass of the night. And Ashton Quiller, who's yet to reach base and is 0 for 3, will now stand in. He's also been punched out in each of his last 2 times. Dugas standing on the far left side of the rubber. First pitch from the Southwest Oklahoma. Just below, ball and no strikes. Victoria, 3 runs on 6 hits. No errors, and so far have left 11 runners on base. (1-0). Outside corner called strike 1 on the breaking ball. Acadiana, on the other hand, 2 runs on 3 hits with 3 errors. All 3 of which coming in the same inning, that being the bottom of the 3rd. And so far tonight have left 7 runners on base, or left 8 runners on base, I should say. Pickoff throw over to first and Torres. The tension in this ballpark is so palpable you could cut through it with a butter knife. The 1-1 from Dugas. Shows bunt is Quiller. He pulls back. No call from either umpire. It looks to be 2 balls and a strike. Quiller known for his sneaky on base, but has been strikeout prone for much of this summer. The Nicholls State center fielder. 2-1. Shows bunt again. Pulls back 3-1. 7 balls in 9 pitches for Dugas. And for Ryan, who was able to get through the 9th inning on Thursday with a 5-run lead, now has to get through the 8th inning with just a 1-run lead in a game with much higher stakes. It's hard to argue a Game 3 of a semifinal and a championship game have nearly identical stakes, but that is the case. 3-1 shows bunt is Quiller. It's in foul territory. Perez able to collect it on the ground in case it was fair, as Torres was off and running on the 3-1. It will be foul, and the payoff pitch awaits now to Quiller. Man has come through so many times for this Cane Cutter squad with 3 walk-offs, 2 of which on back-to-back nights in early July that kick-started what was a brilliant second half for the men from Lafayette. Payoff. Ground ball to the third base side. Could be two, but Drew Schmidt loses control of the ball, and the runners stay where they are. Drew Schmidt again in this postseason, not being 100% on his defensive play, as Jose Torres now sits at second, and it will be ruled, it looks like more likely than not, an infield single. Haven't been given an official word just yet on the decision of the play, but Reed Snyder will step in, who is 1 for 2 with a single and run scored. He shows bunt. He lays it down, just foul. 4th hit of the night for the King Cutters on that infield single. Snyder as well has fly down in the 4th and walked and got as far as second base back in the 6th. Snyder, a full season player for Acadiana. He shows bunt again, but it goes right to the screen. And the King Cutter now has to remove that from his game plan. The La Tech Bulldog, Lake Charles native, the redshirt freshman, standing 6'2", 190. In 45 games, batting .210. 2 for 9 coming into tonight this postseason. Dugas awaits his 0-2. Here it comes. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Massive strikeout for the Southwest Oklahoma left-hander, and a massive out number 1 here in the 8th. And Trevor Durr, who in this exact situation in the 2nd drove in 2 runs, will now step in once again. If he comes through here, it would give the King Cutters back a 1-run lead. If he comes through in again, he is 2 for 3 on the night with a double and single and 2 RBIs, providing both King Cutter runs. That's outside for ball 1.
Don't choke. You were fine last night. Don't do it.
Durr on at 10 tonight, the Converse, Louisiana native. Outside corner, strike 1. As we mentioned, from the small town of Converse, a parish town in West Louisiana on the border of Louisiana and Texas, with a population of 440. 1-1 is low. Hal Perez stays in front. A legend at John Melvin University, the Millers. 80 career games, program high. 101 career hits, program best. 61 walks, program best. 2-1, Dugas steps off, and nearly sliding off the second base bag was Torres, as he nearly slip and slid on top of the second base bag. And now Darian Dukes gonna check in, as Torres may have injured himself, slipping on the second base bag. And he's grabbing his left ankle, oh my. Torres, the designated hitter, in pain at second base, as he slid over when Dugas turned around, and he's griming in pain. Darian Dukes looking for a trainer, and here comes Victoria's trainer, who will go in and check in on Torres. And this will probably give everyone a breather here in this top of the 8th inning, and you can see someone from the King Cutter roster is now coming in to check in on him as well. It's Harper Jordan. Both him and Jose Nunez now joining in to check in on Torres. Nunez, the Bossier Parish Community College relief pitcher. Harper Jordan, the starter tonight. And now it looks like someone will come in. Bennett Middlestead will come in to replace Torres as the designated hitter. So no harm, no foul into the defensive changes. But the concern right now is on Torres himself, who remains on the ground beyond second base. And when we finish, Middlestead will be replacing Torres in this game, as he looks like he got up on his own will and power and is trying to shake it off. Middlestead hasn't been re-entered into this game. We'll see if Torres comes out, and it looks like he does. So Jose Torres' night is done, and he walks off on his own power as he shakes things off. A few of his teammates with a courageous effort to help him get off the base paths. But his night now comes to an end here on the top of the 8th of the TCL Championship. And Bennett Middlestead, a speedy Bennett Middlestead, will now represent as the game-tying run at second base, with Trevor Durr still in a 2-1 count facing Ryan Dugas with 1 gone here in the 8th. Great job by King Cutter teammates surrounding Torres as he's emotional heading back to the dugout. So Dugas, after that long pause, able to catch a few breaths and focus back into the moment. Durr 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a double. Has provided both runs for the red and blue tonight from Lafayette. 2-1. That one's fouled back above the line. Even count 2-2. Dugas looking to finish the job. Double play would end the inning. Just low and below the zone, Perez able to stay in front of that one with these 3 balls and 2 strikes. Middlestead replacing Torres at second. Ashton Quiller with the single remains at first base. He represents the go-ahead run. And Dugas come through the payoff. Swinging a foul tip off the end of the bat. Nearly retired was Durr. The end of his wood, staying him alive, keeping him alive in this one. Right-hander currently warming in the Generals bullpen. Could very well be Zach Ryan. Another payoff from Dugas. Another one fouled down the left field line. A whole lot of power on the bat from Durr. Dugas collecting a first strikeout already in this inning. He's got 4 already in this postseason. After striking out the side in the 9th inning 2 nights ago to send the Generals to this championship game. Another payoff. Low ball 4. Durr showing praise over to his dugout as it is a bases loaded 1-out situation here in the 8th. The tying run 90 feet away and the go-ahead run now in scoring position on 2 walks sandwiched in by a single with 1 gone and the 9-hole hitter Parker Gwynn stepping in. Gwynn 0 for 2 with a walk back in the 6th. First pitch, breaking ball, strike 1 in the bottom right corner. Gwynn, the Bossier Parish Cavalier, the Lafayette local product. 5'10", 195, the freshman. 50 games for BPCC, outside low, ball 1. Gwynn, 19 games, batting .206 in the regular season. Was 2 for 7 in the postseason coming into tonight. 2 for 9 in total with 2 walks. 1-1 outside, 2 balls and a strike from Dugas. More balls than strikes so far for the Southwest Oklahoma lefty. A double play still ends the inning, and boy, what a momentum swing that could be. 5 outs away, the Generals sent from a TCL championship. 2-1 from Dugas. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Right through the fastball, right down Main Street. Gwynn slightly late to seeing it. 7 RBIs in the regular season for Gwynn. Had an RBI in Game 1 against Lake Charles. The 2-2. Fouled back to the screen on the inside half of the bat. These cane cutter hitters not going away easily. Staying alive as they've had all summer long, especially in the month of July. Going 14-9, winning 10 of their last 11 regular season games. Lord 2-2. Low, Perez stays in front. Zach Ryan awaits in the bullpen if Dugas can't finish. He's already near 30 pitches in this inning alone. Middlestead at third, Quiller at second, Durr at first. Tying run 90 feet away, go-ahead run in scoring position. Payoff from Dugas. Fouled back to the screen. Riverside Stadium on pins and needles. These are the plays that change histories of franchises. These are the plays that are remembered year after year after year when you think about 2024. The 3-2. At the bottom of the zone, gold, strike 3. Parker Gwynn in disbelief. And an out number 2 here in the 8th. Could not have been any closer. And Ashton Quiller at second base has his hands on his helmet. Both outs in this 8th inning coming on the punch out. It could have gone either way, but Sergio Belazzi rules in favor of Dugas. And now we get to the top of the order with Tanner Hornbach, 1 for 3 with a single in the 7th. The leadoff man. First pitch inside, breaking ball, strike one. Hornbach batted .258 in 45 games in the regular season, had 15 runs driven in, 9 of which in the month of July. Just outside ball one. He also walked more than 14 times than he did strike out, 33-19. 4 outs away. Can Dugas shut the door? The 1-1. Foul down the right field line, and he's a strike away. A man who has been well regarded in this community each of the last 2 years for his humor, for his personality, for his wit. Looking to send the Generals to a 9th inning situation and 3 outs away. The 1-2. Foul down the right field line again. These cane cutter hitters will not go away quietly. The tension in Riverside Stadium. Fans, some of which on their feet. Cane cutter fans with their hands in their mouths, praying. These are the moments that you remember for a lifetime. If you are some of these college players who may not play college baseball following their collegiate careers. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3! Ryan Dugas strikes out the side in the 8th and has 6 strikeouts in the postseason. Victoria, 3 outs away from a championship. We go bottom 8 on TCL TV. Absolute madness at Riverside. To the bottom of the 8th inning. Cade Lynn remains on the mound for the Acadiana Cane Cutters as they trail your Victoria Generals 3-2 here in the TCL Championship game. We head to the bottom of the 8th. If you're just joining us, Max Cepeda here with you as Sweet Caroline plays loud and proud for one final time at Riverside Stadium. And it will be 8-9-1 due up for Victoria here in the bottom of the 8th as they look for any kind of insurance against the difficult Lynn in Perez, Broussard, and Avalos. Fast forwarding to the 9th inning, it will be the heart of the order, 2, 3, and 4. Sagne, Callaway, and Garcia due up in the top half of the 9th, so it will not get any easier. But more likely than not, it appears that Zach Ryan could very well be on the mound when that 9th inning commences, as he was warming in the Generals' pen, Victoria's closer. Al Perez will lead things off here, bottom 8. We are a few minutes before the 10 o'clock hour here in the Central Time Zone. And what a game it's been. Unreal drama. Perez sees inside ball 1 to start. And on a stretch that we thought the Generals were the ones leaving runners on base, 5 runners left on in each of the last 2 for Acadiana, 4 of the 5 in scoring position, including the bases loaded to end the 8th. The top half of it, at least. Even count 1-1. Well, actually, it says 2-0. Scoreboard here says at Riverside Stadium 2-0. We believe it's 1-1. As that one hits the outside corner. And it is 1-2. So we are right. Ball and 2 strikes. Here now, Angel Perez. It's his first at-bat. Could be his final at-bat if the Generals hold on for this one. It's outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Perez, if you don't know, was voted General of the Year by his teammates for his contributions both on the field and in the clubhouse as a teammate. The UH Victoria Jaguar and the native of Camui, Puerto Rico. Outside, ball 3. 1-2 to 3-2. Here's Perez. And the Victoria Generals, 3 outs away from a championship. Know that insurance runs would be highly valuable in a game where every pitch now matters. Payoff to Perez. Well above his head, ball 4. Lynn losing control of the breaking ball. As the Cane Cutter bullpen, which at one point was quiet, now will have the arm that was sitting down start throwing once again. Lead off base on balls to begin the 8th. And now Trey Broussard, 1 for 3 with a single back in the 7th. Will now stand in. He was left at third base to end the 7th inning after stealing second and reaching third on a wild pitch. First pitch from Lynn, inside, ball 1. You may remember the Cane Cutters, as we showed you on our Did You Know presented by Whataburger, is Durr and Lynn have another meeting. The last time these two faced in a championship game, it came down to 1 run. When the Cane Cutters were in front 6-5 and won it with a game-tying home run in the 7th and a go-ahead game-winning RBI double in the 8th that won it for Acadiana, in which the Generals had a 1-run lead. And now the Cane Cutters, who had thought to be in most control of this game, the Generals were the one who finally kicked down the door in the later innings, and now are the ones in the driver's seat looking for insurance. 1-0 to Broussard. Low just below the knees, 2 balls, no strikes. Cade Lynn, who sent the Cane Cutters to this championship game with 3 shutout innings of relief through the 7th and the 7th through 9th on Wednesday. Now he gave up the go-ahead run in the 7th and now looks to at least protect the 1-run deficit. Here in this 8th inning, it is 3 balls and no strikes to Broussard. 7 of 8 pitches. Or 7 of 9 pitches, I should say, in this inning from Lynn outside the strike zone. All 4 chants raining. The 3-0. Low below the zone, ball 4. Back-to-back free passes to the 8 and 9 hitters. And now Anthony Avalos, for likely one final time, will head to the Riverside Stadium batter's box as Darian Dukes looks to possibly bring in a new man. Lynn, possibly responsible for giving up the go-ahead run in this championship game, trying to keep his emotions inside with Dukes walk into the mound. And he will take the ball. New man on the mound for the Acadiana Cane Cutters will be coming up. We'll find out who it is when we come back here on TCL TV. Victoria Generals looking to extend their 1-run lead in the bottom of the 8th of the TCL Championship. The Acadiana King Cutters have a new man on the mound here in the bottom of the 8th inning of the TCL Championship. And by God, would you believe it is Emil Estrella, an outfielder from last summer for the Acadiana King Cutters who joined here in the second half, is typically an outfielder, does have, want to point this out, Estrella does have 6 appearances on the mound this summer, 1-0 with a 1.5 ERA, 6'3", 215 from the Santiago Dominican Republic, and out of Indiana State is Estrella, the Sycamores. But 1-0 with a 1.5 ERA and 6 appearances, has a save under his belt in 6 innings pitched, no hits, 7 walks, 8 strikeouts. Has faced Lake Charles 3 times on the mound, and then the other 3 opponents, not the Victoria Generals, once. His only earned run coming in Game 1 of the Lake Charles series, where he gave up an earned run in 2/3 of innings pitched, 3 walks, a strikeout, and just 6 batters faced. And Estrella will be the one to face Anthony Avalos for what likely will be the final at-bat in his Victoria Generals career here in the bottom of the 8th of the TCL Championship. The man who has been the heart and soul of the Generals offense will show bunt and see ball 1. It was 8 balls in 10 pitches thrown by Cade Lynn before he came out of the game. And now Estrella will be the one tasked to protect this 1-run lead with runners at first and second and nobody out. 1-0 is low. It's a perfectly laid bunt. Throw over to first is in time. No, it gets away. It gets away. Coming home is Perez, and the Generals have insurance. An errant throw from Estrella. As Estrella had an errant throw that got away from the first baseman. As it looks like the first baseman in Callaway lost control of the baseball. And the Generals now have an extended lead. It is now 4-2 with still nobody out. What a moment for Anthony Avalos. He might not probably get credit for the RBI. He won't. It's going to be an unearned run. So it's going to be ruled as an E1, the 4th error of the night for Acadiana. That drives in Hal Perez and now has Trey Broussard sitting 90 feet away for Connor Clark. That's called strike 1. Clark tonight 0 for 3 with a walk back in the 4th. Generals now with 2-run insurance. Every run going forward will matter. Can Clark come through? The 0-1. Upstairs, his life flashes before his eyes. 1-1. Clark, we've mentioned his story so many times if you've been listening to the Generals on a night-to-night basis. The UT Tyler Male Athlete of the Year. Man who in 18 games was just 10 for 53 in the regular season. With just 3 hits so far in the postseason, all of which singles, has been providing speed and run-creating ability for much of this summer. Michael Oros giving signals to Clark. 2-1, nobody out. Generals looking to add insurance against Estrella. Fly ball foul, 2-2. And that Ryan Dugas 3-strikeout top half of the 8th inning now looks a whole lot more interesting, with the Generals holding on to their 1-run lead and possibly extending it farther if Clark can come through. Estrella, the 2-way player. His 2-2. Line to the left, it's over the glove of Hornback. 1 run will score. Avalos is given the green light. He will score. A 2-run RBI double for Connor Clark. And the Generals' lead is now commanding 6-2. He shows off the spray gun at second base. What a moment for the UT Tyler Male Athlete of the Year. 6-2 Victoria. 4 of their 6 runs coming in the final 2 innings. Broussard and Avalos coming around to score. On the 2-run RBI double, that was just over the glove of Hornbach. So close to making a play. And now Cameron Nickens will now step in. You cannot understate the importance of Clark and how he hasn't really shown his run-producing abilities for much of this summer. But in maybe one of the biggest moments, maybe the biggest moment of the season, he does so in the bottom of the 8th of the TCL Championship. Unbelievable. Reminder, still nobody out. Nickens hits this high fly ball to right. Going after it is Quiller. He's still ranging back, and that one will one-hop the wall. Rounding third and coming home is Clark. Nickens will stay at second base. It's back-to-back RBI doubles, and the Generals can taste the Haddock Trophy. It is 7-2, and it's a 4-run bottom of the 8th. The Haddock Trophy is within reach for the red and blue. And Darian Dukes will take the walk of shame to pull his two-way player in Estrella. And the Cane Cutters fan base that's sitting on the first base side of the dugout, shaking their heads in disbelief. And a General side that has shown its offensive firepower nearly every single night at home will now knock out Estrella as he isn't able to collect a single out. We head to a new man on the mound, the third different one of this 8th inning. The Generals now with a commanding 5-run lead and 3 more outs to get. Can they add more? We'll find out on the other side. You're watching the TCL Championship exclusively on TCL TV. Was how the championship game unfolded between these two just 2 short years ago. And here we are, nearly 2 exactly years later, and the tides have turned completely. The Victoria Generals, with 5 unanswered runs in the 7th and 8th innings combined, 4 in this bottom of the 8th alone, will now have their 6th batter coming to the dish in Travis Bragg after back-to-back RBI doubles that give the Generals massive insurance. First an error that brings home, that brought home Hal Perez, as Avalos was able to advance on the E1 that brought home what was then a 4th run for Victoria. And then a 2 RBI double from Connor Clark. And then he comes home on an RBI double from Cameron Nickens 2 pitches later. It is 7-2 Generals. Travis Bragg now stands in for possibly his final at-bat in a Generals uniform. Already with a double tonight. He gets another. It's an 8-2 game. Grounds this one to second base. There is Gwynn. Should be a routine play, and he's there in time for the first out of this 8th inning. Nickens advancing 90 feet on the sacrifice. And now Travis Bragg is retired. Could possibly be his final plate appearance. And Drew Schmidt, who had the go-ahead RBI single, which right now would be the game-winning RBI single, now stands in. Infield in, first pitch hits the outside corner, strike 1. That one hits the outside half. A ball and a strike to Schmidt. Another UT Tyler Patriot. And all three of them coming through in huge ways tonight. Him, Connor Clark, and Garcia. That one gets low and it gets away, but staying in front of it is Trevor Durr with a great stop on the block outside of the catcher's glove, 2-1. As I mentioned earlier, the maybe loud noises you're hearing from the party box here are from Katie Potts and Abby DeDeer, two lifelong Victoria natives who have been in this city for so long that have had this team in their blood from the day they have been born. The 2-1's fouled back to the screen, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And we have mentioned it so many times, the Generals being the team of regular season strife and postseason shortcomings. They are 3 outs away from possibly ripping all of that narrative that has been over their face for the last 5 years out of their reach. As the payoff pitch now awaits here for Schmidt. Cameron Nickens remains 90 feet away. We'll update the scoreboard here. So that's fully updated for you. An 8th run for Victoria. Could be driven in here if Schmidt comes through with the infield all in. Payoff. Inside ball 4. Schmidt takes a walk 90 feet. And it's runners at the corners, still only 1 out. And now coming up will be Diego Diaz. By the way, one important fact we should have mentioned is the new man on the mound for the Acadiana Cane Cutters. This man is Jake Gertie. Gertie, who is a right-handed pitcher, is typically in their bullpen. Gertie, out of Bossier Parish Community College, 2-1 with a 3 ERA, 7 appearances, 8 hits, 10 walks, 15 punch-outs. Inside ball 1 to Diaz. As Estrella was not able to collect any outs, Gertie, now the 6th different arm for the men from Lafayette tonight. That's a high fly ball on a right, but it gets underneath it. Garcia is there, will be out number 2. Will they send Nickens? Yes, they will. Here he comes, will be a close play, not in time. 8-2 Generals. And the lead grows and grows and grows. It is now 2 gone here in the bottom of the 8th. Zach Ryan, it appears, continues to throw in the Generals bullpen, as Michael Louros might not want to take any chances. So now with 2 gone, and the runner at first. Now coming up will be Jacob Sanchez, as we have now officially batted around, and that is a pickoff that gets out Diego Diaz at first base, and Drew Schmidt at first base, I should say, and the inning is over. And here we go. 3 outs to a TCL championship. We head to the 9th. It will be Zach Ryan who looks to shut the door. We'll be back for what could be the final 3 outs of this TCL season on the other side. head to the top of the 9th inning of the TCL Championship. Zach Ryan looking to collect the final 3 outs of this Texas Collegiate League summer and add 2024 underneath 2010 and 2018 as the Generals now with a commanding 8-2 lead with 5 unanswered runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, 6 unanswered runs in total. Now sent 3 outs away. It is 2-3-4, heart of the order, and a cold strike 1 to Alex Saunier to begin the 9th. And you can see the Generals dugout, which you can't see on your screen. They are all on the edge of their seats, ready to explode. Inside 0-1, and that one hits Saunier. He will walk 90 feet. Saunier reaching base for the 3rd time tonight, 2 previous being a pair of walks. Bryce Callaway, for what could be his final case for TCL MVP, now stands in. Ryan, this summer, has been Michael Oros' closer. Coming in a 6-run situation. 2-1 is his record with a 1.61 ERA as that one hits the top of the zone for strike 1. 16 appearances for Ryan, 4 saves, 12 hits, 8 walks, 24 punch-outs. Has yet to allow a run since July 6th. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Double play puts the Generals in out away. And the drama building in Riverside Stadium as the Victoria Generals can taste the Gerald W. Haddock Trophy. Outside corner, cold strike 3, and Callaway nearly losing it on Sergio Belazzi. He is screaming and losing his mind. The RBI leader who punches out looking on what could be his final at-bat of the summer. And 1 gone here in the 9th, a double play wins the Generals a championship. And now Christian Garcia will now stand in. Garcia 0 for 4. Upstairs, ball 1 from Ryan. 6 long years of waiting. Postseason failure after postseason failure, as that's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Fell to the eventual champions in Seguin in Game 3 last season on the second to last day of the summer. Fell in the title game in the previous 2 seasons, in 21 and 22, to San Antonio and these very King Cutters in this building. 2 balls and a strike. Fans with their phones out, looking to capture the moment. The 2-1's a line drive to left center. This could split the gap, but Broussard is there. And the Generals are 1 out away from a championship. All of the talk, all of the drama, all of the waiting, all of the postseason failure, now on the verge of finishing the deal, as Nathan Hank Howard, man known simply as Hank Howard, will now step in and replace Bennett Middlestead as the final hope for the Acadiana Cane Cutters. And you can hear the chants of 1 more out. Fans turning on their cell phones, looking to capture the moment. First pitch from Ryan. Outside corner, just too far outside, ball 1. Every General in the dugout on their feet, ready to run out and swarm on Zach Ryan. The Haddock Trophy waiting in Riverside Stadium. Upstairs, 2 balls, no strikes. For the fans in this ballpark who have waited 6 long years for this moment, now on the verge of feeling what it's like to be back on the mountaintop. And the Houston Christian Husky and Ryan throws his 2-0. It's upstairs. Could be a cut. Stealing! And it's not in time. Diaz nearly had the cut stealing to win the championship. And just getting there in time is Saunier. Generals were half run out of the dugout. It's a 3-0 count with 2 gone, as Saunier now sits in scoring position. Ryan bringing up the drama. Howard awaits his 3-0 pitch. Here it comes. Upstairs, ball 4. Second walk of the inning for Ryan. It's runners at first and second, and there are outs at first and second base attainable. With now the final hope looking to Ashton Quiller, the Nicholls State Colonel, who has had 3 walk-offs this summer. As now Hal Perez wants a conversation with Ryan before possibly the final out. And for Nathan Hank Howard, known simply as Hank Howard, now sits at first base with Saunier sitting at second on the stolen base. That stolen base, by the way, the first of the night for the Cane Cutters in this championship game. Perez and Ryan with a lengthy conversation on the mound of how to execute against Quiller, who was 1 for 4 with a single back in the 8th. Cane Cutters, 2 runs on 5 hits and 4 errors. They have also left a combined 11 runners on base. Ryan looking to make it 13 and hand the Generals their first championship in 6 years. Inside corner, strike 1. Fans back on their feet and back with their camera phones, looking to capture the moment. Ryan's 0-1. Swing and a check swing. It is in the zone regardless. Victoria, 1 strike away. The best team in the Texas Collegiate League all year. 35-12 overall. 19-5 in the second half. 23-3 at home. The Huskies 0-2. Well outside, Perez loses it, and the runners advance 90 feet. Third and second now set for both Saunier, who now sits 90 feet away, and Hank Howard, who now sits at second base on the wild pitch. How fitting would it be for Ryan to strand 2 runners in scoring position to win this championship? On the right side of the rubber, his 1-2. Check swing, Perez again losing the low ball. And it is 2 balls and 2 strikes. The runners do not advance. 2 wary breaking balls. Ryan trying to make Quiller chase the bait, but he doesn't. Fans still on their feet, waiting for the all-important moment they have waited 6 long years for. The 2-2 from Ryan. Pop off and foul. It is a 2-2 count with 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Ryan, 1 more pitch. Can he finish the deal? Here it comes. Outside in low, 3 balls and 2 strikes. A payoff pitch now awaits for Ryan. Ground ball to short. Avalos is there to first base. They have done it. 6 long years, and it's victory in Victoria once again. The red and blue 2024 Texas Collegiate League champions. The best team in the league finishes the job and claims its 3rd title in franchise history. The waiting is over. Fans of the Crossroads, they have done it. Fans storm the field, and the fans and players mobbing Zach Ryan just right of the first base mound. We'll have a few moments for celebration. I will quickly head down to the home plate box to help present the trophy to the TCL champion Victoria Generals. We will have a post-game show following that effort. But the champagne begins to flow for the men of the Crossroads in an 8-2 commanding victory with 6 of their 8 runs coming in the final 2 innings of offensive play. So, we will have the final score update for you as we do every single night. We'll quickly update it for you before we sign off. We'll have a post-game show, so we'll have a microphone out there with you. But we'll be heading out to the mound just now the Victoria Generals, your 2024 Texas Collegiate League champions. And a trophy presentation moments away, so stay tuned as the Generals, the best team in the league all summer, claim the championship in front of the home faithful. 24-3, they finish their home schedule and dominate the King Cutters 8-2. I'll head downstairs for the trophy presentation. I'll be back for the post-game show. And I'll leave you live with the pure audio of Riverside Stadium as we head through.
But it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friend. We will keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers. Yes, we are the champions. Oh, we are the champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers. 'Cause we are the champions. Complaciendo para todos los bailadores con esta rola que dice 1, 2, 3, 4. ¡Eso! ¡Viva viva 1, 2, 3, 4. Eso es. Esta es una buenísima. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take away. Hot air balloon, you can go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Come along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Come along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Come along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Come along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Give me all you got, no hold back. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. The winner takes all. It's the thrill of one more kill. The last one we found. We'll never sacrifice their will. Don't ever look back on the world closing in. Beyond
All right, fans, we need to make some room. We're going to have the trophy presentation here momentarily. Please back up 10 feet. That wasn't 10 feet. We need about 5 more feet. Back up a few more feet so Dean can get some good shots. You can all have that shot from Dean.
All right, we're going to do the trophy presentation here in just a second, if everybody will just hang tight. All right, real quick, I don't know where to start, but we don't win without you guys out there, so y'all are the best. By far the best in the league, hands down. So thank you guys for doing what you do. My sponsors, they're the best. They make free ticket nights. They let us get rowdy. They let us have a good time. My favorite free ticket sponsor would have to be Jim Simpson tonight because he pulled this off for us tonight. Jim is going to help me present the trophy. So come on up, Jim. If you would grab that trophy and hand it to Tracy Young, our owner. Give a big round of applause for Tracy and Cam Young. They're the best. Yeah. My head coach. My head coach. My head coach right here. There's nothing better than that guy right there. Come on. Yeah! He battles. He's 10 years doing this for a reason. And it's great for everything this guy's done. And I just want to say, man, you guys are the best fans around. And I couldn't have had more fun tonight. I hope you guys all had a good time. Party deck is still open if y'all would like to grab a couple of beers and hang out for a few minutes. Go over there and do it. I'm done. I'm going to turn it over to Max. Max is going to interview the coach for a second and we'll be good. A little more volume.
First of all, I just want to say I cannot thank enough the incredible leadership that is led by Tracy, by Mike Yoakum. Can we just give one huge round of applause to the front office of this organization? None of these players are here without this group. And now to head coach Michael Oro's coach. As Mike mentioned, you've been in this seat longer than anyone in the history of this league. You have seen a whole lot of regular season success followed by postseason shortcomings. You said to me in our interview in mid-May how important it was to succeed in this 1 week. How does it feel to be back there after 6 long years?
Well, it's a huge weight off our shoulder for sure, but I think everyone saw our second half team and we had a really good chance, and I'm a big believer in surrounding myself with positive people that are good all around people, and not only are these players all around good people, but the fans, the sponsors, the host families, everyone out here that support us, we appreciate you. Thank you.
To bounce off of that, this team was 24-3 at home and was outscoring opponents at home by more than 115 runs. What can you say about this fan base, some of which has showed up every single night? What can you say about them and what they've meant to this team, knowing that you are not the best team in this league without them?
First of all, that's a lot of numbers. I just coach baseball, but no, that's impressive. And I mean, look at tonight. This is unbelievable, and it's all because of you. These guys want to come here because of you, and they succeed because of you, and we give all the credit to you guys.
Now, before I hand the mic off and before we can all celebrate, I want to give at least one player a moment. Someone who has collected 6 strikeouts over Game 3 of the semifinals and the top of the 8th inning tonight. Someone who spent 2 years here, the incredible, soon-to-be Southwest Oklahoma lefty, Ryan Dugas. Ryan, come on up. Ryan. Ryan, you are so well known in this community. There are fans who even have signs of your face at nearly every single game. You are so beloved for your passion and for your personality. For you to come through in these final 2 nights, what does it mean for you and the time that you're going to remember here in Victoria?
I mean, it means the world to me. I mean, I can't do anything without my family and all the support from all you guys, my teammates. I mean, I couldn't do anything without them, and the man upstairs. Praise that man.
And what can you say about the strength that this pitching staff had to go through tonight when the offense, which has been so good for much of this summer at home, didn't break through into the final 2 innings? What can you say about the staff and what it's been able to progress, especially in this last month?
We've been pretty deep all year. I mean, what is it, 24-3 at home? We showed.
Thank you, Ryan. That's going to do it for me, guys. It's been an honor to be your voice this past season. And yeah, we're going to party now. Let's go.
All right, so we are back here. Max Cepeda here, the voice of the Victoria Generals. Hopefully you're still watching after the trophy presentation took place, as the Victoria Generals, as you may now see on your screen, officially our 2024 Texas Collegiate League champions, defeating the Acadiana King Cutters by a final score of 8-2 tonight. We'll go over the final numbers, and then we'll have one last sign-up. Got a whole lot of more interviews to do with this incredible group that will be seen all over our social media platforms. You can follow us at vic.generals on Facebook and Instagram, and at VGenerals, or at VIC Generals on Twitter, and at VGenerals on Facebook and Instagram. Give you the final numbers here on the Texas Collegiate League Championship game, which we'll have for you right here. Don't have the official final numbers just yet, but we'll corral these just now. Sorry if I'm running a little bit out of breath. It is very much still hot and humid here in the Crossroads region. But as of right now, the final numbers: 8 runs on 8 hits, 1 error for your Generals, 2 runs on 4 hits, 4 errors for the Acadiana King Cutters. In total, it was 13 runners left on base for Acadiana. In total, it was 11 runners left on base for your Victoria Generals. A huge shout out to everyone who has made this season possible, for everyone who has contributed and watched this team night in and night out, and seen this team go an overall record of 38-12, or 38-13, I should say. 3-1 in the postseason, taking 2 out of 3 from their arch rivals, the Brazos Valley Bombers, and avenging their loss 2 years ago to the Acadiana King Cutters in a thrilling victory. The final score, 8-2. Once again, your final. Well, that is going to do it for us. And before we sign off, we'll again show you this graphic. For the first time all summer, I'm going to flip the camera around and show you guys myself. Hello, everyone. This is Max Cepeda, and I want to give one huge shout-out as I begin my sign-off to say that this is my second time calling the Texas Collegiate League Championship game. I was the voice previously of the Brazos Valley Bombers alongside the incredible Nick Savage, in which the River Monsters went into Bryan College Station and defeated Victoria by a final score of 3-1. And in that game, it was thrilling. Bombers left 14 runners on base, but the River Monsters were able to secure their first TCL championship in just their second season. And now, with the Victoria Generals, it has been an absolute blast to get to call one of the single-season best overall teams to dominate from the beginning of the summer to the end that we have seen in this league's history. And it's for that reason that I am incredibly grateful. I want to give a huge shout-out to Tracy Young and Vice President and General Manager Mike Yoakum for giving me this opportunity to be your voice over these last 2.5 months. It has been unbelievable to get to watch these incredible players from all across the country, not just around the Lone Star State and Louisiana and Oklahoma, but everywhere across this country, sometimes even around the world, to get to play in front of you every single night and to have the opportunity to have this headset on my head nearly every single night is a pleasure, and it's something I won't take for granted. This is more likely than not my final time calling a game in the Texas Collegiate League, and to say that these last 2 summers haven't been thrilling is saying a whole lot. When you want to intern in this league, I 100% recommend it. Yes, you will not be paid a dime, but regardless of that fact, you're going to get to see incredible baseball and get hands-on sports business, sports communication experience every single night of a summer if you're a college student, and that's what makes this experience so unbelievable, regardless of which franchise you're a part of. But to say that this night has not been storybook for a whole lot of people, including myself, is not saying much. But that is going to do it for us this summer, and I want to say once again a huge shout-out to the fans, the players, the coaches, the front office that make this possible every single night, for all 6 franchises, for playing every single night and giving it their all, regardless of the fact whether they won or lost on a given night. So it's because of that that we leave you with that message, and we sign off for the 2024 Texas Collegiate League season with the Victoria Generals, 38-13 overall, 19-5 in the second half, an overall record of 24-3 here at Riverside Stadium, and it's my honor to sign off one final time from the Party Box. So, with that in mind, that will do it for us from the banks of the Guadalupe River. Once again, your final score, the Victoria Generals 8, the Acadiana King Cutters 2. We will see you next summer as the Victoria Generals will look to defend their TCL championship beginning in late May of 2025. That will do it for us. We will see you next summer, and good night from Riverside Stadium.